Chapter 1288. Boss Long, I suspect that the lady in white is the Xian Wang who recently rose to the 8th place. But I don't know why she seems to have a grudge against Ji Lingyang and has been snatching his points and treasures. Yin Tianzong explained to Ling Xiao. Xian Wang. A divine light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something and his heart skipped a beat. Boom. Heaven and earth trembled as purple lightning enveloped the void. The aura around the lady in white was ethereal and mysterious, but the sword in her hand could trigger the momentum of heaven and earth. Every time the sword fell, purple lightning would fall and collide with Ji Lingyang's sword. It's the sword force of greater mastery? It's really terrifying. Ling Xiao sighed as his eyes were filled with sharpness. Before the immortal state, the martial arts of the mortal state mainly focused on comprehending the true meaning of martial Tao, understanding the changes of heaven and earth, and controlling the power of heaven and earth. The immortal state involved the understanding of the laws, comprehending the force of martial Tao, using the momentum of heaven and earth to trigger the vast laws, and possessing unfathomable power. The legendary sage state even comprehended the field of martial Tao, dominating the divine path. Their words were the law of the world, suppressing the universe and invincible. The true meaning of martial Tao, force of martial Tao, and field of martial Tao corresponded to the step-by-step control of the power of heaven and earth. The force of martial Tao was divided into 5 levels: entry, small mastery, great mastery, perfection, and transformative state. This white-robed woman's true God realm cultivation base had already cultivated her sword force to the great accomplishment realm. She had even reached the peak of the great accomplishment realm. There was already a trace of great accomplishment realm fluctuation. Such talent made many geniuses feel inferior. Even Ling Xiao's fist force and sword force were only at the initial success stage before he reached the 3rd stage of the heart-tempering realm. He had only reached the realm of great success after fighting with the Celestial Emperor's Dharma form in the 3rd stage of the heart-tempering realm. Therefore, Ling Xiao could see that although Ji Lingyang possessed the sacred body of heavenly cycle and displayed powerful martial arts divine senses, he was still suppressed by the woman in white. At the end of the day, it was the person who was powerful, not the martial arts. Boom! Streaks of purple lightning, like purple stars, revolved around the heaven and earth, mysterious and unfathomable, falling towards Ji Lingyang one after another. Although Ji Lingyang had unleashed his Zhou Tian's sacred body, his fists were unparalleled, and he was constantly blasting those purple stars apart. However, he seemed to be in a sorry state. Zhou Tian's 5 thunders formation, rise. Ji Lingyang's eyes blazed with killing intent as he roared. Suddenly, the sky and earth in the surrounding valleys shook, and the earth changed. Stars lit up in the 9 heavens, and mysterious qi interweaved, containing incomparably terrifying power. 5 mysterious lightning bolts of 5 different colors intertwined with each other and enveloped the white-clothed woman below. Ji Lingyang's killing intent towards this white-robed woman was incomparably intense. Her strength was too strong. Such an enemy must be thoroughly killed in order to be at ease. Sensing the aura of Zhou Tian's 5 thunders formation, the white-clothed woman's expression changed slightly. Her eyes revealed a trace of sharpness as she lunged forward and thrust her sword at Ji Lingyang. Boom! The sword radiance was blazing, and it actually split into streaks of lightning, converging into a purple lightning dragon that contained unparalleled divine power. The white-clothed woman obviously felt the power of Zhou Tian's 5 thunders formation, so she wanted to subdue Ji Lingyang first. However, at this moment, Xiong Ba and Jian Xie, who were already severely injured, exuded an extremely terrifying aura. In an instant, they soared into the sky and attacked the white-clothed woman from both sides. Xiong Ba's body flickered with dark golden light, and his qi and blood surged. He threw out a punch, and it was like a vajra destroying the world. The sword in Jian Xie's hand was extremely fast, and it was extremely strange. It seemed to be piercing from all directions, and no one could even feel the trace of the sword radiance. Ha! Mysterious king, since you're courting death, then don't blame me for being impolite. Although I didn't lure out Long Out Yin today, It's still a great harvest to be able to capture you. Ji Lingyang laughed loudly, and the killing intent in his eyes blazed. In fact, he was incomparably depressed in his heart. He didn't know what kind of enmity this white-clothed woman had with him. She had gone against him time and time again, and this time, she had even barged into his trap. Boom! Ji Lingyang formed a seal with both hands, and instantly, the 5-colored lightning in the void transformed into 5 mysterious giant beasts, exuding an incomparably mysterious fluctuation, and suppressed Mysterious King. Zhou Tian's 5 thunders formation was the power of Zhou Tian's 5 elements divine lightning, and they were perfect as one. Not only was its power unparalleled, but it could also seal the universe and draw a prison. The 5 lightning beasts instantly shattered the Xian King's sword, and then they transformed into 5 chains that coiled around her body. At this moment, Xiongba and Jianxia had already arrived, and Mysterious King was about to fall into a situation of certain death. Just as Ling Xiao was about to make a move, Mysterious King moved. Boom! The white divine light around Mysterious King shot into the sky, and instantly became dazzling. She was like a round of resplendent divine light, and her entire body exuded an incomparably mysterious fluctuation. The 5 lightning chains that were shooting towards her actually shattered the moment they came into contact with the white light around her body. Mysterious King's glabella shone, and a sharp light shot out from her eyes. Her slender jade-like hand turned into a palm print, and instantly, the void shook. She and Xiongba clashed, and then Xiongba was sent flying. Clang. Then, she suddenly clasped her hands together, and directly clamped down on Jianxia's sword, which was as fast as flowing light. An even more terrifying divine light shot out from her glabella, and instantly hit Jianxia's chest. A resplendent light flashed on Jianxia's body, and then it instantly shattered. Jianxia also flew back as if he was struck by lightning. If he didn't have a protective treasure, he would have died under Mysterious King's attack. Xiongba and Jianxia's expressions became incomparably ugly, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. At this moment, Mysterious King's aura had actually surpassed the true God realm, and reached the heavenly God realm. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, and he could feel that there seemed to be some kind of terrifying aura awakening in Mysterious King's sea of consciousness between her eyebrows, and it contained an ancient and vast aura fluctuation. It was as if some kind of great existence was providing Mysterious King with unparalleled power. At this moment, Mysterious King's face became incomparably pale, and there was a trace of blood at the corner of her mouth. She couldn't help but groan. Ji Lingyang's eyes lit up, and he said coldly, "She used some kind of forbidden power, and she can't last for long. Kill her." Ji Lingyang immediately activated the power of Zhou Tian's 5 lightning array, and 5-colored lightning gathered in the void, and charged towards Mysterious King. Xiongba and Jianxia also noticed the change in Mysterious King's body, and their eyes also lit up, and they charged towards Mysterious King. Chapter 1289. Boom! Xian Wang's gaze grew sharper and sharper. The ancient sword in her hand emitted a resplendent sword light. In an instant, the heavens and earth shook. Streaks of purple lightning surged up like mountains, transforming into a vast sea of lightning, suppressing Ji Lingyang, Xiongba and Jianxia. In the endless sea of lightning, a purple sword radiance swept across the heaven and earth, containing a terrifying fluctuation that could destroy everything. It suddenly collided with the 5-colored lightning. Endless divine radiance burst out. Although Xian Wang's sword was strong, Zhou Tian's 5 thunder formation contained the divine might of heaven and earth. Under Ji Lingyang's control, it actually suppressed Xian Wang. Xiongba and Jianxia took the opportunity to attack, causing Xian Wang's qi to become chaotic. Purple Heaven Godly Sword Technique? I didn't expect you to evolve it to such a level. Ling Xiao sighed softly, his eyes revealing a trace of surprise. He had already confirmed Xian Wang's identity. Swoosh! At this moment, Ling Xiao no longer concealed himself and turned into a dazzling golden light. Divine energy rose around his body as the 4 elephants' sky striking style exploded. A chaotic fist print suppressed Ji Lingyang. Ling Xiao also saw the power of Zhou Tian's 5 thunder formation. The key was Ji Lingyang. As long as he suppressed Ji Lingyang, Zhou Tian's 5 thunder formation would collapse on its own. Who's there? Ji Lingyang's face changed as he threw out a punch without hesitation. However, when he saw the white-robed figure charging towards him amidst the golden clouds, he immediately recognized Ling Zhao's identity. His eyes instantly turned bloodshot. Long Outyen, you really dare to come here to seek death? Ji Lingyang's voice was filled with monstrous killing intent. It's not me who's seeking death, it's you. I was still worried about how to catch all of you in one fell swoop. I didn't expect you to scheme against me. Since that's the case, all of you shall leave your lives behind. Ling Xiao sneered. The primal chaos fist imprint was incomparably terrifying. In an instant, it broke through the interweaving qi in the surroundings and sent Ji Lingyang flying with a punch. Long Outyen. Xiongba and Jianxie could not help but exclaim as their gazes turned serious. Although they had set this trap for Long Outyen, they had not expected the Xian King to destroy it. Now that the Xian King and Long Outyen had joined forces, not only would they not be able to keep Long Outyen here, but they might even be suppressed here by Long Outyen. They were extremely wary of Long Outyen. Hence, they were a little hesitant to attack him. Xian Wang also saw Ling Zhao's figure, and his body shook involuntarily. His eyes were filled with incomparable joy. When she heard Ji Lingyang, Xiongba and Jianxie calling Ling Xiao Long Outyen, she immediately knew that Ling Xiao was hiding his identity. Therefore, she did not shout out and instead charged toward Xiongba and Jianxie. Rumble! Ling Zhao's fist momentum was vast, and his combat strength was getting more and more terrifying. At this moment, he no longer held back and erupted with his full strength. This made Ji Lingyang secretly complain, and his complexion became more and more ugly. When Ling Xiao was in the great divine spirit realm, he was already able to defeat him. Now that Ling Xiao had reached the early true god realm, his combat strength was even more terrifying. Ji Lingyang actually started to fall into a disadvantageous position, as if he would be defeated by Ling Xiao at any time. 5 lightning, gather, explode. Ji Lingyang could feel that Ling Zhao's battle prowess was getting stronger and stronger. He couldn't help but let out a roar. Suddenly, the surrounding void trembled. The 5 lightning bolts instantly converged from all directions, forming a 5-colored lightning ball in the center of Ji Lingyang's palm. The 5-colored lightning ball contained an incomparably terrifying destructive power, and under Ji Lingyang's control, it suddenly exploded towards Ling Xiao. Boom! A dazzling divine light rose into the void, and a terrifying destructive power swept in all directions, drowning the entire valley. On the other hand, Ling Xiao was even faster than the 5-colored ball of lightning. He was like a blurry shadow, teleporting tens of thousands of meters in an instant. He was also blown away by the ball of lightning. The power of the 5 elements divine lightning? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. The power contained in the 5-colored lightning ball was extremely terrifying, and even a heavenly god expert would be severely injured if he was careless. Unfortunately, the 5-colored lightning ball was an inanimate object, and Ling Zhao's spiritual sense was incomparably sharp, so he did not suffer any damage. Kill! Ling Zhao's eyes were blazing with sharpness, and he sent a palm across the sky. The dazzling 5-colored divine light was like 5 heavenly pillars, suppressing Ji Lingyang. 5 elements sky ceiling style. Ling Xiao could see that Ji Lingyang's Zhou Tian 5 thunder formation was based on the innate 5 elements divine lightning. Ling Zhao's palm directly cut off the power of the 5 elements, as if stripping away Ji Lingyang's perception of the laws of heaven and earth. What? Ji Lingyang's expression changed as well, feeling the 5 elements law being stripped away. At the same time, Ling Zhao's palm was so powerful that it made his scalp tingle. Buzz! Light flashed in Ji Lingyang's palm, and a purple-gold divine sword instantly soared into the sky, slashing towards Ling Xiao. This was the divine firmament sword, the most powerful sage-to-be treasure in Ji Lingyang's possession. Sword chi rose, as if it was going to shatter the 5 elements boundary. But Ling Zhao's palm was incomparably mysterious. It was like a vast ocean, dense and endless. It suddenly slapped on the divine firmament sword at an incredible angle. Clang! Unparalleled divine power spread towards Ji Lingyang's body, containing an incomparably terrifying energy fluctuation. Ji Lingyang's expression changed, his arm went numb, and the divine firmament sword flew out of his hand. Bang! Ling Xiao was like a god of war from the ninth heaven. His aura was unparalleled and golden light shrouded him. A huge footprint suddenly stomped on Ji Lingyang's chest. Suddenly, a crisp sound rang out. Although Ji Lingyang's chest was emitting an incomparably blazing saint light, it instantly caved in. He suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood and fell from the void. What? When Xiongba and Jianxie saw Ji Lingyang's fate, their expressions couldn't help but change. They were somewhat frightened. Although they knew that Ling Xiao had defeated Ji Lingyang before, how could it be like this? It was like crushing dry weeds, and in the blink of an eye, Ji Lingyang was heavily injured. Taking advantage of the moment when they were distracted, King Xian's eyes flashed, and a resplendent sword ray swept across the sky, directly leaving a deep wound on Xiongba and Jianxie's chest. Xiongba and Jianxie were shocked. If it weren't for their quick reactions, they would have been directly disemboweled by King Xian. Both of them felt that something was wrong. If this continued, they were afraid that they would really be wiped out by Ling Xiao in one fell swoop. Brother Jian, let's retreat. We can't do this. If we continue to stay, I'm afraid both of us will fail miserably. Xiongba hurriedly transmitted his voice to Jianxie. All right, let's retreat. Let Ji Lingyang fend for himself. I've already decided. After we escape, I'll immediately give you all my points and help you ascend to the top. But don't forget what you've promised me. Jianxie's eyes flashed as he transmitted his voice. Really? Brother Jian, don't worry. I'll definitely do what I promised you. Chapter 1290. Rumble. Xiongba and Jianxie wanted to escape, but at that moment, they unleashed all of their divine power. A dark golden fist print and a bright sword radiance charged towards Xianwang. Xiongba and Jianxie joined forces and unleashed their ultimate fighting power. Even Xianwang had to retreat temporarily. Sush. The two of them looked at each other and did not choose to continue attacking. Instead, they turned around and used their powerful martial arts to escape into the distance. Xianwang was slightly stunned. He did not expect Xiongba and Jianxie to choose to escape at this moment. Suddenly, two air-piercing sounds could be heard. Those were two silver arrow radiances. They were extremely bright and contained a sharpness that could pierce through everything. Moreover, the angle of the arrows was extremely tricky as they shot towards Xiongba and Jianxie. Lingbo Fairy Qingting? Xiongba and Jianxie's faces turned ugly as they shouted at the same time. Rumble. At the same time, another bright sword radiance swept across the sky. It was wrapped in a monstrous amount of divine power. It was like an endless sea that was surging and surging. Wang Liujuan's 100-layered waves had also arrived. Xiongba and Jianxie could only stop and focus on blocking Qingting and Wang Liujuan's attacks. However, after this delay, Xianwang had also charged over. Xiongba and Jianxie were instantly besieged by the three experts. Ha! Who asked you to be so smug? How dare you go against my big brother? All of you have to die. Yap Liangchen and Fengya had also appeared. Looking at the scene before them, Yap Liangchen could not help but laugh out loud. Bastard! Xiongba and Jianxie's eyes were extremely dark. Xianwang was extremely strong and was enough to suppress the two of them. In addition to Qingting and Wang Lujun, the two of them were instantly in danger. Your Highness Xiongba and Jianxie, as long as you obediently hand over your points, we will let you go. How about that? Don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Qingting said with a smile. Her eyes were filled with a charming smile. Don't even think about it. Xiongba gritted his teeth and said. Both he and Jianxie felt extremely aggrieved. In the past year of the Great Void Trial, it could be said that they had the power to decide the life and death of others. However, they had suffered losses at the hands of Long Outyin, causing them to feel extremely aggrieved and dejected. Since you are not obedient, then we can only take it ourselves. Qingting shook her head as the clear cloud bow in her hand shone even brighter. Arrows after arrows pierced through the clouds were aimed at Sword Demon and Xiong Ba's vital points, causing their scalps to go numb. Cheng Ting's archery skills were extremely powerful. Normally, they would have to defend carefully. Now that they were surrounded by Wang Lujun and the Xian King, they were even more powerless. They could only struggle left and right. It was only a matter of time before they were defeated. Rumble! Ling Xiao punched out, his fist imprint blazing with an incomparably terrifying energy fluctuation, sending Ji Lingyang flying again. Long Outyan, you and I are irreconcilable. Ji Lingyang's eyes were gloomy and filled with cold killing intent as he glared at Ling Xiao. Irreconcilable with me? You don't have the qualifications. Hand over all your points and I can spare your life. Ling Xiao laughed coldly. Don't even think about it. Ji Lingyang gritted his teeth as the divine firmament sword returned to his hand. It emitted a powerful holy radiance that surrounded him. You refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Ling Xiao laughed coldly as he punched out again. The powerful fist broke through the holy radiance around Ji Lingyang and sent him flying. Ji Lingyang coughed out blood as he hated Ling Xiao to the extreme. He had never experienced such humiliation before, and he was about to go crazy. Long Outyan, just you wait. I won't let you off. Ji Lingyang looked at Ling Xiao with hatred. Suddenly, his body shone brightly as the divine firmament sword emitted streaks of purple lightning. He wanted to escape. You want to leave? It's better for you to stay. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Golden light flashed around him, and he actually appeared tens of thousands of meters away in an instant. As Ling Xiao comprehended the secret art of teleportation, it became more and more mysterious and powerful. Although he still couldn't reach the level of teleportation, it was enough to make Ling Xiao's speed invincible in the same realm. Boom! This time, Ling Xiao didn't want to let Ji Lingyang go no matter what. He punched across the sky and the fist print was like a golden mountain that pressed down on Ji Lingyang. Ji Lingyang's expression changed as he hurriedly raised the divine firmament sword to block. However, when the fist print hit the divine firmament sword, it instantly burst out with bright light. Ji Lingyang felt his blood churning as he was sent flying. In Ling Xiao's hands, Ji Lingyang had no chance of escaping. Rumble! The battle between the two became more and more intense. However, Ji Lingyang had already fallen into a disadvantage. Although he roared and used powerful martial arts, he was still suppressed by Ling Xiao. Just as Ling Xiao was about to kill Ji Lingyang and snatch the Great Void token from him, an ancient and vast voice resounded between heaven and earth. The Great Void trial has ended. All trial takers, return to the Great Void ancient city. That voice was incomparably old, but it contained a strange fluctuation. Boom! In an instant, everyone's Great Void medallion emitted a bright light and floated up. It was as bright as the stars, enveloping everyone. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In an instant, all the trial takers disappeared from the Great Void secret realm and returned to the Great Void ancient city. Even Ling Xiao couldn't react in time. In the next moment, the light in front of him changed and he appeared in the Great Void ancient city. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. There should still be a few hours before the Great Void trial ended, but it ended so abruptly. Someone probably didn't want him to hurt Ji Lingyang. Above the void, Tong Yuan and the other deans stood in the air. Their auras were vast and terrifying, as if they could split open the sky. Ji Guan, the dean of the Great Zhou Academy, was looking at Ling Xiao coldly with a trace of killing intent. Jian Chen and Ba Wang also looked at Ling Xiao with unfriendly eyes. After all, Jian Xie and Xiong Ba were almost eliminated because of Ling Xiao. However, at this moment, they represented the 5 great academies. Although they were angry, they couldn't vent their anger in public. They could only warn him with their eyes. So they're abusing their power for personal gain? Ling Xiao sneered in his heart. Looking at their eyes, he immediately understood what was going on. However, so what if the Great Void trial ended early? He was still first in the rankings. With the support of the Flipping Sky seal, no one could take it away from him. Everyone, after a year of the Great Void trial, it has ended. According to the points you've accumulated this year, the top 1,000 on the rankings can join the 5 great academies. Chapter 1291. In the sky above the ancient Great Void City, a huge list floated in front of everyone. Everyone's ranking and points could be seen at a glance. First place, Long Outyin. Second place, Ji Lingyang. Third place, Xiong Ba. Fourth place, Evil Sword. Fifth place, Qing Ting. Sixth place, Wang Lujun. Seventh place, Yi Liangchen. Eighth place, Xian Wang. Ninth place, Feng Ya. 10th place, Lu Zongzi. Many people already knew their points and rankings. Those who had entered the top 1,000 were naturally ecstatic, while those who had been eliminated looked like they had lost their lives. However, many people were more concerned about the top 10 geniuses. If there were no accidents, the top 10 geniuses had hopes of entering the 3 immortal sanctuaries through the 5 major colleges. The Aries College was backed by the Aries Temple, the Imperial College was backed by the Taishang Dao Palace, and the other 3 colleges were backed by the 9 Imperial Obelisk. These 3 immortal sanctuaries were famous in the entire divine realm. Being able to enter the immortal sanctuaries meant that there was a high chance of becoming a sage in the future. Who is Long Outyin? What qualifications does he have to suppress Ji Lingyang, Evil Sword, and Overlord to become the champion of this realm? Everyone's eyes widened as they looked at the unfamiliar name at the top of the list. One had to know that when the Great Void Trial began, everyone thought that the champion would definitely be Ji Lingyang, Evil Sword, and Overlord. However, in the end, it was snatched away by someone called Long Outyin. Although there were 10 drops of holy liquid for the champion, it was nothing to the 3 princes. What they pursued was the title of the champion. The champion of the Great Void Trial, no matter which college they entered, would receive resources and strong nurturing. You guys don't know about this, right? I heard that Long Outyin's combat power is extremely strong. He defeated Ji Lingyang and swept through the crowd. No one can defeat him. Is he that strong? It is said that Ji Lingyang has the Zhou Tian holy physique and is extremely strong. Is he not a match for him? Long Outyin, this name sounds very domineering. I wonder what kind of style he has. Everyone was discussing animatedly. They were curious about the guy named Long Outyin. This time, the top 10 of the Great Void Trial will each receive a drop of holy liquid as a reward. The champion will receive 10 drops of holy liquid. Now, let's invite the top 10 geniuses to come up and receive their rewards. Tong Yuan smiled and waved his hand. Immediately, a dazzling, golden platform appeared in the air. Transparent stairs extended down from it, all the way to the ancient city. This was a kind of glory. Receiving the reward under the eyes of tens of thousands of people, he was destined to become a famous genius in the entire divine realm in the future. Immediately, many people revealed looks of envy in their eyes. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He took the lead and stepped onto the transparent stairs, walking towards the high platform. His clothes were whiter than snow, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. He looked heroic and extraordinary, and he had a natural and unrestrained bearing. His face was calm and indifferent, and he did not change his expression in the slightest because of the gazes of the surrounding people. Even Tong Yuan could not help but secretly nod his head at his composure. Being able to remain calm in the face of danger, his mental state was indeed extraordinary. Everyone's eyes widened as they watched Long Outyin, who had defeated Ji Lingyang, walk to the top step by step. He stepped onto the golden platform, and everyone's attention was on him. Immediately after, Ji Lingyang, Xiong Ba, Jian Xie, Qing Ting and the others stepped onto the high platform one after another. Ji Lingyang, Xiong Ba and Jian Xie's faces were naturally ugly. They looked at Ling Xiao with a trace of hidden hatred in their eyes. Qing Ting, Wang Lujun, Feng Ya, and King Xian all had extremely calm expressions. Only Yi Liangchen seemed to be extremely smug. He looked left and right, then swaggered over with a complacent expression on his face. The last person was Lu Zongzi, who was ranked 10th. No one had seen him before. He was an ordinary black-clothed youth. His steps were very steady, and he walked up the high platform calmly. Tong Yuan and the other deans walked up the high platform and gave out their rewards. Ling Xiao received 10 drops of holy liquid, and they were sealed in a transparent jade bottle. They were like 10 dazzling suns, dazzling and eye-catching. 10 drops of holy liquid, I finally got it. Ling Xiao could not help but let out a sigh of relief. He was a little happy in his heart. 10 drops of holy liquid might be enough to raise one's cultivation by a whole realm, but to Ling Xiao, it was only enough to raise his cultivation by a small realm. After all, Ling Xiao's accumulation was too great. Just as Ling Xiao and the others were receiving the holy liquid, in the depths of the great void ancient city, where no one could see, Lei Qinjue, Jing Xan and King Tiansu, the 3 sage-to-be experts, were also paying attention to the many experts who were participating in the Great Void Trial. Junior sister Jing Xan, is there any genius disciple who caught your eye in the Great Void Trial this time? Lei Qinjue smiled faintly. Jing Xian's eyes were cold as she said faintly, although these people are talented, they do not meet the requirements of the Taishang Dao Palace. They can enter the outer sect, but it is almost impossible for them to enter the inner sect, let alone become a true disciple. King Tiansu also smiled bitterly. Although the Taishang Dao Palace was powerful, it was a pity that the requirements for its disciples were very strict. Therefore, it was the sect with the least number of disciples among the 12 endless sacred grounds. I think that kid called Long Outyin is not bad. His physical body is very strong, and his blood qi is majestic. He should have taken the path of becoming a god with his physical body. He is quite suitable for the combat god hall's cultivation technique. Lei Qinjue's eyes flashed as he looked at Ling Xiao. King Tiansu's eyes flashed with a hint of surprise. He smiled and said, "Brother Lei, I also like Long Outyin. Why don't you give him to me? I am willing to exchange a flawless sacred treasure for him." A flawless sacred treasure? Hee, that's not enough. I think this kid is very suitable for the cultivation technique of the Thunder Hall. Ji Lingyang has the Zhou Tian sacred body, and Xiong Ba has the Sky Tyrant divine body. If you are willing to let these 2 kids join my sect, I can consider it. Lei Qinjue said faintly. Joining your sect is not a problem. As long as you let them learn the flipping sky seal, I will give them to you. King Tiansu said with a smile. Learn the flipping sky seal? Senior brother Tiansu, you are making things difficult for me. I don't have the right to do that. Lei Qinjue shook his head. Even the 9 temple masters of the combat god hall did not have the right to learn the flipping sky seal. Only the ancestral patriarch or the god of war agreed to it. The god of war was the leader of the combat god hall. His status was comparable to the sect masters of the other holy lands. Then I have no other choice. It's time for us to show ourselves. Otherwise, if that kid doesn't choose the Aries College, I will be embarrassed. Lei Qinjue said with a smile. On the golden platform. After Ling Xiao received the 10 drops of sacred liquid, he was about to wait for Tong Yuan to announce which college they were going to join. Suddenly, a ray of light flashed in the void, and an old man in black armor appeared in the void. He looked majestic and powerful. Beside him was a beautiful woman in a white robe and a young man in a green robe. Their auras were also unfathomable. They were Lei Qinjue, Jing Xan, and King Tiansu. Chapter 1292. Greetings to the 3 elders. Tong Yuan and the other deans of the 5 academies greeted Lei Qinjue, Jing Xan, and Tiansu King when they saw them. You're welcome. Lei Qinjue smiled faintly. Tong Yuan naturally knew the purpose of these 3 people's appearance. In his heart, he wondered who was so lucky to be able to catch the eye of these 3 elders. Tong Yuan looked at the crowd and said with a smile, Everyone, these 3 elders are the Thunder King of the War God Hall, Vice Hall Master Lei Qinjue, Elder Jing Xan of the Taishang Palace, and Tiansu King of the 9 Imperial Gates. The 3 elders are here in the Great Void Trial to select the most talented experts to enter the 3 immortal sacred grounds. If you're chosen by the 3 elders, it'll be a great opportunity for you. I hope you'll make good use of this opportunity. After hearing Tong Yuan's words, everyone's body trembled. Their breathing quickened, and their eyes were filled with excitement. The elders of the 3 immortal sacred grounds were lofty figures. They were even more powerful than the deans of the 5 academies. Most importantly, to be able to enter the 3 immortal sacred grounds, one had to be at least an inner disciple. This was an opportunity that everyone dreamed of. After all, even if one became a disciple of the 5 academies, not everyone would be able to enter the 3 immortal sacred grounds. They would have to go through intense competition to have a chance. Now that there was a chance for them to rise to the top, how could they not be excited? Even the eyes of those in the top 10 on the scoreboard lit up. To be able to enter the 3 immortal sacred grounds, one's starting point would be much higher than those in the 5 academies. Naturally, the resources and training they would receive would be different as well. However, it could be imagined that the 3 great elders had extremely strict standards. Most likely, the ones with the highest hopes were still the top 10. The Thunder King, Lei Qinjue? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he realized that the Thunder King, Lei Qinjue, was the expert from the War God Hall who had sent a projection to kill him in the realm of the gods. According to Ling Zhao's memory, the Thunder Hall was the most hostile to the War God Hall. If Ling Zhao wanted to become the master of the War God Hall, he would have to face the Thunder Hall sooner or later. Ji Lingyang, Xiong Ba, are you willing to become my disciples? The Tianzi monarch was the first to speak as he looked at Ji Lingyang and Xiong Ba with a smile. Ji Lingyang and Xiong Ba were slightly taken aback before they became overjoyed. As princes, they naturally knew of the heavenly strategy's king's strength. He was one of the few who had the highest chance of becoming a saint in the 9-layered imperial obelisk. Becoming his disciple was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for them. I'm willing. Disciple Ji Lingyang pays respect to Master. I'm willing as well. Disciple Xiong Ba greets Master. Ji Lingyang and Xiong Ba hurriedly knelt down and bowed deeply to the king of heavenly strategies. Their faces were filled with excitement. Very good. One of you has the Zhou Tian sacred body, and the other has the Sky Tyrant divine body. With such talents, as long as you cultivate diligently, you will have a bright future in the divine path. These 2 holy treasures are Master's greeting gift. You guys accept them? Tianzi King said with a smile, his face full of satisfaction. With a flash of light in his hand, a sword and a saber floated in front of Ji Lingyang and Xiong Ba, exuding a powerful holy light, looking extremely mysterious. Flawless holy treasures. Although they were only lower-grade holy treasures, they were still extremely precious. If placed in an ordinary sect, they would be considered the most precious treasures of the sect. Thank you, Master. Ji Lingyang and Xiong Ba were pleasantly surprised. Ji Lingyang received a holy sword, while Xiong Ba received a holy saber. Both of them stood up respectfully and stood behind the king of heavenly strategies. Especially Xiong Ba, who gave Ling Zhao a provocative look. Everyone looked at Ji Lingyang and Xiong Ba with envy. From today onwards, the 2 of them would be disciples of the 9 imperial gates, and inner disciples at that. The disciples of the 5 great academies were at most outer disciples of the 3 immortal sacred grounds. Only by passing a series of rigorous tests could they become true inner disciples. Brother Tianzi, I'm not going to snatch them from you. Is there a need for you to treasure them so much? Lei Qinjue smiled bitterly as he looked at the king of heavenly strategies. Brother Lei, these 2 brats have already become my disciples. Let's make it clear. I won't snatch them from you, and you won't snatch them from me either. The king of heavenly strategies said with a smile. Although he felt that Long Outyen's talent was not bad, Ji Lingyang and Zhou Tian's sacred body and Xiong Ba's Sky Tyrant divine body were all top body constitutions in the world. As long as they were fully developed, their future would be limitless. Naturally, he would not be willing to exchange them for Long Outyen. Of course, Lei Qinjue smiled faintly as he turned around and looked at Ling Zhao. You're Long Outyen, right? Are you willing to become my disciple? Lei Qinjue's voice was old and majestic. There was a hint of satisfaction in his eyes. Ling Zhao was able to suppress Ji Lingyang on his own. In his opinion, Ling Zhao was extremely talented. Perhaps he had some hidden bloodline. Moreover, this kind of expert was the most suitable to cultivate the martial arts of the War God Shrine. Ling Zhao was taken aback. He did not expect Lei Qinjue to take a liking to him. He suddenly felt that something was wrong. Of course, he did not want to become Lei Qinjue's disciple. He had inherited the Scarlet Dragon Warlord's inheritance and was destined to be the master of the War God Shrine. Moreover, he had too many secrets. If he became Lei Qinjue's disciple, it was inevitable that his identity would be exposed. Everyone looked at Ling Xiao with envy. Lei Qinjue was known as the Thunder King. He was proficient in the Thunder Dao and was the deputy lord of the Thunder Temple. He was destined to become a saint in the future. It was a great honor to be chosen by him. Just when everyone thought that Ling Xiao would kneel down in joy, Ling Xiao raised his head and said calmly, "Thank you for your kindness, Elder Lei. However, I still want to enter Aries College. I want to build a solid foundation and cultivate diligently. In the future, I want to enter the War God Shrine with my own strength." Ling Xiao's words instantly stunned everyone. Everyone looked at Ling Xiao as if they were looking at an idiot. He had rejected Lei Qinjue? Even Jing Xin and the King of Heavenly Strategies were surprised. They did not expect Long Outyin to be so bold. Cheng Ting, Wang Lujun, Yap Liangchen, and Feng Ye looked at Ling Xiao with admiration. They were impressed by his courage to make such a decision. However, there was also a look of pity in their eyes. After all, this kind of opportunity to reach the heavens in a single bound was not something that everyone had. Big Brother is indeed Big Brother. He actually rejected Lei Qinjue. But that's right. How can a half-saint accept you as his disciple? Yap Liangchen winked at Ling Xiao and secretly transmitted his voice to Ling Xiao. Lei Qinjue's eyes flashed. Although his expression did not change, the look in his eyes had turned cold. Chapter 1293. If that's the case, do as you wish. Lei Qinjue said indifferently and did not look at Ling Xiao again. Although he was furious and thought that Long Outyin did not know what was good for him and dared to embarrass him, he could not lose his temper in front of everyone. He's asking for it? How dare he reject Vice Palace Master Lei? He's too arrogant. Looks like he's dead meat. That's right. I don't know if this kid is stupid or not. So what if he's the champion of the Great Void Trial? After offending Vice Palace Master Lei, he still wants to enter the Ares Temple in the future? He must be dreaming. The ignorant are truly fearless. Everyone was discussing among themselves, gloating over Ling Xiao's misfortune. Even Ji Lingyang, Xiong Ba, and Jian Xie looked at Ling Xiao as if they were looking at a dead man. Their eyes were filled with mockery and coldness. Although Jian Xie was disappointed that the King of Heaven Strategies did not accept him as a disciple, he did not show it. Moreover, he believed that with his strength, he would definitely be able to enter the 9 imperial gates in the future. Unknowingly, everyone began to distance themselves from Ling Xiao. They all thought that this kid was destined to have no future. To everyone's disappointment, other than the King of Heaven Strategies who accepted Ji Lingyang and Xiong Ba as his disciples, Lei Qinjue did not mention anything about accepting disciples after Ling Xiao rejected him. Jing Xin, on the other hand, did not take a liking to anyone. Next, the top 50 can come forward and choose the college that they want to join. Tong Yuan looked at Ling Xiao with surprise. He coughed lightly and began to distribute the disciples among the 5 colleges. Originally, the deans of the 5 colleges would definitely try their best to win over the champion. However, since the Taishang Palace wanted to recruit female disciples and the King of Heaven Strategies had promised Lei Qinjue that he would not accept Ling Xiao, the deans of the Sky Sword College, Overlord College, and Dezhou College naturally did not try to win over Ling Xiao. This year's champion, because he offended the Thunder King, Lei Qinjue, ended up in a very strange situation. However, Ling Xiao did not care about this. He chose to join the Ares College directly. After all, he was going for the Battle Temple. However, many people were gloating over Ling Xiao's misfortune. After joining the Ares College, Ling Xiao would suffer in the future. Other than Ling Xiao, of course, Feng Ye, Yi Liangchen, and Yin Tiansong also chose to join the Ares College. What surprised Ling Xiao was that Xian Wang had also chosen to enter Ares College and not the Great Zhou College that Ling Xiao had imagined. Wang Lujun and Cheng Ting joined the Taishang Dao Palace. The others followed their wishes and chose the sect they wished to join. In the end, each of the 5 academies recruited 200 disciples. Lei Qinjue, Jing Xen, and Tian Su quickly left the ancient void city. The 5 deans also bade farewell to each other and led their respective disciples to the teleportation portals, returning to the 5 great academies. Ares College was located in the Ares mountain range of the Taichung Heaven region. There were a total of 9 immemorial sacred mountains that were intertwined with each other. Divine light lingered around them, and auspicious vapors rose. Each palace was majestic and magnificent, and its foundation was extremely deep. When Tong Yuan brought the group back to Ares College, everyone looked at the majestic Ares College in front of them. Their eyes were filled with excitement and shock. With such a strong foundation, it was almost comparable to those legendary capitals of the God Kingdoms. Ares College was indeed worthy of its name. At this moment, Xian Wang calmly walked to Ling Xiao's side and said, "Ling Xiao, I didn't expect you to change your name to Long Outyan and enter Ares College. Why did you reject Lei Qinjue?" Ling Xiao looked at Xian Wang and smiled. "I don't understand either. You are the princess of the great Zhou Divine Kingdom. Why did you choose to enter Ares College instead of the great Zhou College?" The Xian Wang in front of him was Ji Feishuan. Ling Xiao's heart was filled with emotions. When he heard the 2 words Xian Wang, he had a guess in his heart. It was only when Xian Wang used the purple cloud godly sword art that Ling Xiao was completely certain. Ji Feishuan could be said to be the first person from Ares College that Ling Xiao had met after coming to the God Realm. Naturally, he was incomparably close to her. However, Ji Feishuan was the princess of the great Zhou Divine Kingdom. Ling Xiao originally thought that Ji Feishuan would join the great Zhou College, but he did not expect her to come to Ares College. Although I'm the princess of the great Zhou Divine Kingdom, that was a matter of 1,000,000 years ago. Everything can change with the passage of time. Many things have happened in the great Zhou Divine Kingdom. If I return to the great Zhou College, I'm afraid I'll be walking right into a trap. Ji Feishuan said with a bitter smile. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. It seemed like something had indeed happened in the great Zhou Divine Kingdom. However, since Ji Feishuan did not want to talk about it, he did not probe further. Instead, he changed the topic. "How did you enter the Great Void Secret Realm? Did you see anyone else? I once saw Lu Wenqing's portrait in dazzling Gold City. I should have been saved by that mysterious senior. However, I was the only one who came to the vicinity of dazzling Gold City." "Are you talking about the Peach Blossom Prince, Lu Wenqing? That scumbag cultivated an evil technique and tried to defile a few young girls. I taught him a lesson. After that, I changed my appearance and participated in the Great Void Trials." Ji Feishuan recounted everything that had happened after she came to the God Realm. Ling Xiao nodded and was somewhat amazed. Ji Feishuan's concealment technique was so amazing that even Lei Qinjue and the other 2 sage-to-be experts could not detect it. Gotcha! A bright light shone in front of everyone, and a huge screen slowly opened. It was mysterious and vast, revealing the full view of Ares College. Everyone appeared on a huge white jade square, surrounded by clouds and mist. It looked extremely mysterious. "Greetings, Principal." On the square, 2 white-haired old men bowed to Tong Yuan. They looked hale and hearty, and their auras were powerful. They were experts in the great circle of the heavenly God Realm. "Rise. Elder Li, Elder Wang, these are the new disciples of this batch. Long Outyan is the champion of this batch. You can handle the procedures for them to enter the college. Bring Long Outyan to me in a month." Tong Yuan smiled at the 2 old men. Then, he glanced at Ling Xiao and disappeared into the void. After Tong Yuan left, Elder Li and Elder Wang's gazes landed on Ling Xiao. They were naturally happy that the champion of this batch could enter Ares College. However, they were curious when they saw that Ling Xiao was only in the early True God Realm. After all, it was said that there were many experts in the great circle of the True God Realm in this great void trials. Long Outyan, who was only in the early True God Realm, could become the champion. He must be extraordinary. Elder Li coughed lightly and took the lead to say, "I am Li Qian, the managing elder of Ares College. This is Wang Gang, the managing elder. First of all, I would like to congratulate you on passing the assessment and becoming a disciple of Aries College. In Aries College, you will receive the best resources and the best training. As long as you are talented and powerful enough, you will be able to get everything you want here. Chapter 1294. Elder Lee is right. In Aries College, there are God of War Pagoda, Deities Lake, and countless secret realms. Cultivating in them will allow you to cultivate faster than others. Aries College has a contribution point system. Every one of you who enters Aries College will be rewarded with 100 contribution points. With contribution points, you can exchange for anything you want, be it pills, divine weapons, talismans, or even holy treasures. As long as you have enough contribution points, you will be able to obtain them. And Aries College has the Hidden Dragon Leaderboard. The cultivation resources, status, and even importance that you can obtain are all linked to the Hidden Dragon Leaderboard. If you can become the top of the Hidden Dragon Leaderboard, all the resources in Aries College will be open to you. So, newcomers, work hard. Wang Gang also said. His words were extremely provocative, causing the blood of the newcomers to boil. They could not wait to kill their way into the Hidden Dragon Leaderboard. As Wang Gang pointed, everyone saw a huge ancient stone tablet in the middle of the square. It was thousands of feet tall and shone brilliantly. Bright names were engraved on it. Hidden Dragon Leaderboard. First place, Tian Gang, Great Circle Heavenly God. Second place, Luo Iran, Great Circle Heavenly God. Everyone could see that there were a total of 8,600 names on the Hidden Dragon Leaderboard. They represented the 8,600 disciples of Aries College. However, Ling Xiao and the rest's Great Void token instantly turned into rays of light and shot directly into the Hidden Dragon Leaderboard. 8,601st place, Long Outyen, Great Circle Heavenly God. 8,602nd place, Yi Liangchen, Great Circle Heavenly God. 8,603rd place, Xian Wang, Great Circle Heavenly God. 8,604th place, Feng Ye, Great Circle Heavenly God. 800th place, Duan Kuei, Great Circle Heavenly God. Ling Xiao and the other 200 newcomers' names were also engraved on the Hidden Dragon Leaderboard. However, they were ranked at the bottom 200. And Ling Xiao could see that the 8,600 names above him were actually all at the Great Circle of the True God realm. Thinking about it, it was understandable. The Great Void Trial opened once every 100 years. The expert above him was also a disciple from 100 years ago. He had only cultivated to the complete True God stage. It was indeed not fast. In fact, it could even be considered slow. At this moment, the Great Void token had also turned into a Battle God token. It flew out of the Hidden Dragon ranking and returned to their hands. However, the points in the Battle God token had turned into contribution points. Everyone had 100 contribution points. And because Ling Xiao was the champion of the Great Void Trial, he actually had a total of 1,000 contribution points. Furthermore, the Aries token looked extremely sturdy and was connected to everyone's primordial spirit. Normal divine weapons would not be able to damage it. Besides recording everyone's identity and contribution points, there were also introductions to various places in Aries College and the Aries Techniques training method. The Aries art was the foundation of the Aries College. However, it was also a martial art of the Divine King realm. It was enough for everyone to cultivate to the Divine King realm. In the outside world, it was impossible for ordinary people to obtain martial arts of the Divine King realm. However, in Aries College, it was an entry-level martial art. This made many people gasp in surprise. This hidden dragon list should be a holy treasure. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he looked at the hidden dragon list that was thousands of feet tall. He thought to himself. He could feel that the hidden dragon list contained an unparalleled power. There was a mysterious holy light flowing within. It was no wonder that it could record so much information and even control the entire Aries College. All sorts of introductions about Aries College are recorded in the Aries badge. The Aries arts are also the foundational martial arts of Aries College. It can be used to condense the power of the Aries god. This is the foundation of all the martial arts of Aries College. If you want to obtain better martial arts, you will need to use your contribution points to exchange for them. In Aries College's Tower of Martial Arts, there are all kinds of martial arts. Wang Gang said with a grin. Aries College has a total of 4 levels of residences: palace, loft, courtyard, and abode. Other than Long Outyen, who is the champion, who can stay in the loft, all of you will have to stay in the abode. The 4 levels of residences all have different spirit gathering formations. If you want better residences, then work hard to cultivate. Everything will be based on the hidden dragon list. The higher your ranking, the better your residences will be. In the coming days, I hope that you will cultivate well. In 3 years, it will be the Aries College's generational competition. I hope that you can achieve good results in the competition. When the time comes, there will be all kinds of generous rewards waiting for you. Li Qian smiled at the crowd. Then, he turned to a youth in white beside him and said, "Fang Sheng, I remember that the Spirit King Pavilion is still vacant? Bring Long Outyen to the Spirit King Pavilion." "Yes, Elder." The youth in white looked as gentle as jade. Although he was only at the Great True God realm, he had a different kind of temperament. After reading the introductions in the Battle God token, many of the newcomers looked at Ling Xiao with envy. The most ordinary abode did not even have a spirit gathering formation. In the courtyard, there were 3 times the number of spirit gathering formations. In the loft, there were 5 times the number of spirit gathering formations. In the palace, there were 10 times the number of spirit gathering formations. As the champion, Ling Xiao was able to choose a loft as his residence. This meant that he would have 5 times the number of divine spiritual energy. How could they not be envious? "Big brother, let's go to our residences and settle down first. After that, we will go to your loft to take a look." Yap Liangshan smiled at Ling Xiao. Then he left with Fengya, Yin Tiansong, and Xian Wang. They followed the group and headed towards the abodes. "Junior brother Long, let's go." Fang Sheng smiled at Ling Xiao. "Thank you, senior brother." Ling Xiao nodded and followed Fang Sheng to the top of a sacred mountain. The abodes were located at the foot of the mountain. The courtyard was located halfway up the mountain. The loft was close to the top of the mountain. The palace was located at the top of the mountain. Junior brother Long, our Aries College has a total of 9 palaces. These are the residences of the 9 seniors on the hidden dragon list. There are a total of 100 lofts. Coincidentally, a senior brother from the Spirit King Pavilion went to take up a position in one of the Aries College's businesses. Hence, the Spirit King Pavilion is empty. You can use it as your residence. As for the courtyard, there are 1,000 of them. As for the abodes, there are too many of them. As Fang Sheng led Ling Xiao to the Spirit King Pavilion, he introduced it to Ling Xiao. Fang Sheng was envious. As a disciple from the previous batch, Fang Sheng was still living in the abode. However, Ling Xiao was living in the Spirit King Pavilion the moment he entered. Indeed, comparisons were odious. However, when Fang Sheng thought about how his martial art was about to be completed, even if he could not get a loft, he would at least be able to get a courtyard. Hence, his heart was filled with anticipation. They followed the winding mountain path and walked to the top of the mountain. The surroundings were misty and looked very peaceful. Finally, they came to a loft built under a waterfall. Spirit King Pavilion, they had arrived. Chapter 1295. The Spirit King Pavilion was a 3-story building. It looked very elegant and exquisite, but it occupied a wide area. The Spirit King Pavilion covered an area of several thousand acres, and there were dozens of rooms in total. The Spirit King Pavilion was shrouded in a faint spiritual mist. That was the power of the Spirit Gathering Array. There were cultivation rooms, alchemy rooms, quiet rooms, secret rooms, etc. It was very complete. Moreover, the Spirit King Pavilion was backed by a bamboo forest and faced a waterfall. The environment was very quiet and Ling Xiao liked it at first sight. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He felt that there was someone in the Spirit King Pavilion. Fang Sheng's face also changed slightly. He shouted into the Spirit King Pavilion. Who is in the Spirit King Pavilion? Please come out and meet me. Logically speaking, the Spirit King Pavilion should be empty. Fang Xing did not expect that someone would be so bold as to occupy the Spirit King Pavilion. Not long after, the Spirit King Pavilion was filled with water ripples, and the array was activated. A woman in a green dress walked out from it. She had a voluptuous figure, jade-like skin, and a delicate face. Her red phoenix eyes were flowing with endless charm. Who are you? How dare you barge into my Spirit King Pavilion? The woman in the green dress looked at Ling Xiao and Fang Xing indifferently and asked in a condescending manner. Especially when she saw that Ling Xiao was only at the early True God realm and Fang Xing was only at the complete True God realm, there was a trace of disdain in her eyes. You are Su Feifei? Fang Xing cried out in surprise, his face turning slightly ugly. You have some eyesight. This is not a place where trash like you can barge in. Quickly scram. Su Feifei said with some arrogance. Senior Fang, who is this Su Feifei? Why is she in the Spirit King Pavilion? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed and he asked indifferently. Junior Long, you don't know. This Su Feifei's cultivation partner is called Chu Yunfei. He is at the early Heavenly God realm and is ranked 982 on the Hidden Dragon ranking. Chu Yunfei is naturally nothing, but this Chu Yunfei's brother has a very big background. He is ranked 10th on the Hidden Dragon ranking, the peerless genius Chu Yunfan. He is already at the complete Heavenly God realm. Fang Xing quickly sent a voice transmission to Ling Xiao. Even if he has a big background, he is only ranked over 900 and his residence should be just a courtyard, right? Why are you in the Spirit King Hall? Ling Xiao asked indifferently. Don't worry, Junior Brother Long. I'll explain the situation to them. Fang Xing smiled bitterly and said. He had calculated everything, but he never would have thought that the Spirit King Pavilion would be taken by Su Feifei. He had heard that Chu Yunfan was very protective of his people, so he already had the strength to compete for the position of the 9 great palaces. He never would have thought that he would meet them here. Fang Xing gave a faint smile to Su Feifei and said, Junior Sister Su, I am Fang Xing. I am here on the orders of Deacon Elder Li Gang to bring Junior Brother Long Ao Tian to the Spirit King Pavilion. This Spirit King Pavilion has already been assigned to Junior Brother Long. The Spirit King Pavilion was assigned to him? Fang Xing, are you trying to trick me? A mere early True God realm cultivation base was simply trash. It was already good enough that he had a place to stay, but he still wanted the Spirit King Pavilion? What a fool's dream. If Li Qian dares to bend the law for personal gain, then don't blame us for being impolite. Su Feifei gave a cold laugh. She looked at Ling Xiao in disdain as she spoke, her eyes filled with disdain. Junior Sister Su. This Junior Brother Long is the champion of the Great Void Trial this time. According to the rules of my Aries College, naturally he should be given a loft. The Spirit King Pavilion now belongs to Junior Brother Long. Junior Sister Su, please move out and don't make things difficult for me. Although Fang Xing's expression was ugly, he still tried his best to speak calmly. Champion of the Great Void Trial? Ha! A mere early True God realm, you dare to say that he is the champion? I don't believe it. You want the Spirit King Pavilion? He doesn't have the qualifications. Unless you let the dean come and talk to me personally, there's no need to talk about it. You'd better scram. Su Feifei said with a cold laugh. Ling Zhao's brows also furrowed. He did not expect this Su Feifei to be so arrogant. Not to mention occupying the Spirit King Pavilion, she did not even put the elders in her eyes. However, if the backing behind him was Chu Yunfan, who was also at the Great Circle of the Heavenly God realm, Chu Yunfan naturally would not be afraid of Li Qian. However, this had created a problem for Ling Xiao. Fang Xing's face was filled with anger. Just as he was about to say something, Ling Xiao suddenly stopped him and asked calmly, Senior Brother Fang, this Spirit King Pavilion should already be my residence, right? Although Fang Xing was puzzled, he still nodded and said, That's right. The elders have indeed assigned the Spirit King Pavilion to you, but... Ling Xiao interrupted him and said, Since it's already my residence, Then without my permission, anyone who dares to enter my residence is my enemy. Su Feifei, I'll give you one last chance. Leave on your own. Ling Zhao's voice was very calm as he quietly looked at Su Feifei. Your residence? This junior brother Long, you've just entered the college and you're already so disrespectful to your senior sister. It seems that if I don't teach you a lesson, you really think that this is a place where you can behave atrociously? A cold light flashed in Su Feifei's eyes as she looked at Ling Xiao unkindly. A powerful aura spread out from her body, locking Ling Xiao in place. It seems that you're not willing to leave on your own? Ling Xiao said calmly. Since it's like this, then I'll send you on your way. Ling Xiao's voice was like a sudden clap of thunder. In an instant, his body was covered in a golden glow as he directly threw a punch at Su Feifei. Long. This punch was like the earth shattering, containing an invincible fist power. Rays of golden divine light rose like lightning, instantly causing Su Feifei's face to change. You dare! She never thought that Ling Xiao would actually dare to make a move against her. She angrily shouted as she jumped up, sending a white palm at Ling Xiao. Junior brother Long, don't be reckless. Fang Xing saw that Ling Xiao was about to make a move, so he quickly stopped him. However, it was already too late. Su Feifei's palms crisscrossed in the void, forming countless white palm prints in an instant. They were illusory and real, but each palm contained a powerful energy fluctuation. 1,000 illusory palms. Su Feifei cultivated a kind of divine king martial art. When cultivated to the peak, one palm could transform into thousands of palms. It was impossible to guard against and could kill people without them noticing. She never thought that a mere early-stage True God Realm disciple would dare to make a move against her. She immediately retaliated without any courtesy. Streaks of illusory palm prints seemed to envelop Ling Xiao. They contained incomparably sharp fluctuations and concealed murderous intent. However, Ling Xiao's eyes were calm and there was a sharp light flashing in his eyes. His fist was pure physical strength, breaking through illusions and seeing the truth. No matter how many divine abilities you have, I'll break them with a single fist. Hong Long. Chapter 1296. Su Feifei's expression changed as she felt the terror of Ling Xiao's fist. She didn't dare take it head-on and her palms turned into two blazing blades, slashing at Ling Xiao's wrist. Ching. Sparks flew in all directions and Su Feifei cried out in surprise. She felt as if she had slashed at a metal wall. Not only did it not cause any injuries to Ling Xiao, it caused intense pain to her palms. Your battle strength is actually this strong? Are you really the champion of this year's competition? Su Feifei's expression was very ugly as she finally looked at him seriously. To be able to stand out from hundreds of thousands of people and become the champion, this new disciple's battle strength was indeed very strong. Ling Xiao did not reply and sent out another fist. His divine power surged like a vast ocean, enveloping Su Feifei. Su Feifei gritted her teeth and a silver ancient sword appeared in her hand. It was a God King weapon and it looked very powerful. She suddenly slashed at Ling Xiao's palm. In all fairness, Su Feifei's battle strength was not bad, but in Ling Xiao's eyes, she was full of flaws. Not to mention Xian Wang, Ji Lingyang, and Xiong Ba. She was even weaker than Wang Lujun and Qing Ting. She was only about the same as Lu Wenqing. Speaking of which, she was just a flower vase. Qing. Ling Xiao's eyes were calm. Facing Su Feifei's sharp sword, he stretched out two fingers that were as clear as jade and caught the silver ancient sword in Su Feifei's hand. The sword qi that filled the sky dissipated and only Su Feifei's look of disbelief was left. This new disciple Long Ao Tian's body was too terrifying. He could even catch a God King weapon with two fingers and no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't pull it out. This was also because Su Feifei couldn't activate the power of the God King weapon. Otherwise, no matter how strong Ling Xiao's body was, he wouldn't be able to resist the might of the God King weapon. Ling Xiao released his divine power and with a swing, Su Feifei was sent flying. Even the silver ancient sword was sent flying out of her hand, stabbing into a giant rock in the distance. Bastard! Long Ao Tian, do you really want to go against me? Su Feifei's expression was very ugly as she stared at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao said very calmly, I don't want to go against anyone, but if someone wants to provoke me, I'm not afraid. This is only a small lesson. If you don't know what's good for you, then don't blame me for being impolite. Good. Very good. Long Outyen, I'll remember you. Just you wait. This Spirit King Pavilion is Chu Yunfei's residence. He won't let you off. Su Feifei glared at Ling Xiao. She knew that she was not Ling Xiao's match at all, and if she continued to stay here, she would only be seeking her own humiliation. Therefore, after leaving these words, she turned to leave. Fang Sheng looked at Ling Xiao worriedly and said, Junior brother Long, you're in trouble now. That Chu Yunfei is not easy to deal with, not to mention that he has Chu Yunfan behind him. Senior brother Fang, don't worry. If people don't offend me, I won't offend them. If people offend me, then don't blame me for being impolite. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, not taking it to heart at all. Junior brother Long, be careful these few days. I'll tell the elders to restrain Chu Yunfan and Chu Yunfei. Take care of yourself. Fang Xing smiled bitterly and left with a heavy heart. From now on, this Spirit King Pavilion will be called the High Heaven Pavilion. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed and he erased the words Spirit King Pavilion from the stone tablet. Then, he left the words High Heaven Pavilion in bold calligraphy. Since he had successfully entered Aries College, Ling Xiao naturally did not want to continue hiding. He wanted to show off his abilities and display his exceptional talent until he could truly enter the Aries Temple. Chu Yunfei and Chu Yunfan were not his targets. His real target was the Aries Temple, the 12 immortal sacred lands. If he wanted to obtain the 12 sky arts, Ling Xiao was destined to walk on the path of becoming enemies with the 12 immortal sacred lands. The road ahead is full of thorns. I'll blast it open with a punch. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and walked into the High Heaven Pavilion. There was a spirit gathering array in the High Heaven Pavilion, which was also a defensive array. Once it was fully activated, it could be used for defense and warning. Previously, Su Feifei had only taken over the Spirit King Pavilion and did not start learning the array. This time, Ling Xiao learned the method to activate the defensive array from Fang Sheng. As he refined the defensive spirit array, a bright light suddenly surrounded the entire High Heaven Pavilion. In the High Heaven Pavilion, the spiritual energy was extremely abundant, 5 times more than the outside world. It condensed into a faint spiritual mist, nourishing Ling Zhao's body at any time. Just relying on this level of spiritual energy to break through to the complete true God realm, I'm afraid it will take at least 100 years. Time waits for no man. Ling Xiao sighed. His accumulation was too deep, and he was in the triple God realm. This allowed him to have unparalleled combat power, but it was also much more difficult for him to break through to the next realm. If I refine these 10 drops of holy liquid, it will be enough for me to break through to the middle true God realm. Now, God stones and God crystals are too slow for me to cultivate. I need to get as much holy liquid as possible so that I can continue to break through. Ling Xiao thought to himself. These 10 drops of holy liquid were enough for an ordinary person to break through to the next realm. However, to Ling Xiao, they could only break through a small realm. Moreover, the higher his cultivation, the more resources he needed to break through. In the Great Void Holy Temple, I can now open a temple. Let's see if there are any temples that can help me to break through to the next realm. Ling Xiao sat down in a secret room and immediately activated his heart realm. With the help of his heart realm, he communicated with the Great Void Holy Temple in a distant spacetime. Ling Xiao felt as though he had passed through an endless stream of light. It was like an eternity in an instant, and he directly entered the Great Void Holy Temple. Indeed, I can directly enter the Great Void Holy Temple. The power of the heart realm is indeed powerful. Ling Zhao's heart moved and he was a little surprised. His heart realm had just been constructed. As the heart realm continued to grow, it would have various magical abilities. Young master, when you cultivate the Great Void Heart Charm scripture to the 6th level, you will be able to affect reality with your thoughts. Then, you will realize how powerful the heart realm is. Uncle Su appeared in front of Ling Xiao in an instant and said with a smile. All right, Uncle Su, I plan to open a temple. Ling Xiao nodded and said, all right, you can choose for yourself. Uncle Su smiled and said. In front of Ling Xiao, the light shone brightly. Shadows of divine palaces appeared one after another, representing different divine palaces. Ling Xiao looked at all the temples and finally his gaze fell on the Flowing Time Temple. There is a Flowing Time Temple here? Chapter 1297. Uncle Su, I found a Flowing Time Temple in the War God Temple. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered as he told Uncle Su about what he had seen and heard in the War God Hall. Are you sure it's the Flowing Time Temple? If that's the case, the old master might not be dead. Uncle Su's body trembled as well. After hearing Ling Xiao's words, he became agitated. But why are there 9 demons suppressing divine temples? Is there some secret in the War God world? Ling Xiao asked curiously. Young master, the devil-suppressing divine palace you speak of is completely modeled after the divine halls here. However, it's not 9, but 36 devil-suppressing divine palaces, suppressing the heavens. When the old master was killed, the demon race was the most arrogant. I suspect that the demons suppressing divine temples are related to the demon race. When your cultivation is strong enough, we can go down to the lower realm to take a look. Maybe we can find some news about the old master. Uncle Su took a deep breath and said, no problem. Uncle Su, what's the use of the Flowing Time Temple? Ling Xiao asked curiously. The Flowing Time Temple can be used to cultivate as long as you comprehend the power of time. It can be sped up by 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times, or even 10,000 times. Uncle Su said with a smile. What? Sped up time? Ling Xiao was completely shocked by this. If the time was sped up to 10,000 times, wouldn't it mean that 10,000 years in the Flowing Time Temple would only be 1 year in the outside world? Wasn't that too heaven-defying? As expected of the Great Void Temple, an apex emperor weapon. That's right. However, the damage to the Great Void Temple is too severe. Now, it can only speed up the flow of time by 30 times, and it can only last for 3 days. If you want to use the Flowing Time Temple, you'll have to constantly search for treasures to replenish its energy. Uncle Su said, will divine stones and divine crystals work? Ling Xiao asked after thinking for a while. Divine stones won't work. The energy it contains is too little. Divine crystals can be sped up by 10 times, but it'll consume 10,000 divine crystals a day. Sacred liquid can be sped up by 30 times, and it'll consume 10 drops of sacred liquid a day. Uncle Su said with a smile. Hearing Uncle Su's words, Ling Xiao clenched his teeth. 10,000 divine crystals was equivalent to 100 million godly stones, and only then could he speed up the flow of time for a day. This was too much of a scam. In particular, the 10 drops of sacred elixir he had could only be used for a day. Looks like I still need to earn more money. Ling Xiao laughed bitterly. However, after thinking for a moment, Ling Xiao said, Uncle Su, since the Flowing Time Temple can be opened for 3 days, let me cultivate for 3 days first. Ling Xiao made some calculations. 3 days in the outside world was equivalent to 90 days in the Flowing Time Temple, which was enough for him to refine 10 drops of the holy liquid and break through to the mid-stage true God realm. All right, you may enter now. Su Bo nodded, and with a point of his hand, a bright rainbow bridge appeared in the distance, and an ancient and vast bronze temple appeared. Ling Xiao leaped up and turned into a stream of light, entering the divine bronze palace. This was a mysterious space. Illusory light flowed all around. In this place, Ling Xiao's senses seemed to be infinitely magnified. He could feel the flow of time as well as the changes in the world. Is this the interior of the Flowing Time Temple? It's so magical. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered. He could feel that in here, he had begun to have some kind of profound understanding of time and menstruation. Cultivating time and menstruation in the Flowing Time Temple was probably hundreds or thousands of times faster than cultivating outside. Because in here, Ling Xiao could clearly feel the flow of time, and that forbidden power seemed to be within reach. Let's strive to cultivate to the mid-stage true God realm in 3 months. Ling Xiao thought in his heart, and directly took out 10 drops of sacred elixir. The 10 drops of sacred elixir were like 10 bright little suns. The golden light was gorgeous, and mysterious holy light flowed around them, containing incomparably majestic power. Ling Xiao no longer had any scruples here, and directly operated the heaven-devouring secret technique with all his strength. Suddenly, the heaven-devouring divine sea rose behind him, vast and majestic. Boom! At this moment, the 10 drops of sacred elixir rose into the air at the same time, and directly flew into the heaven-devouring divine sea by the terrifying devouring power. At this moment, a very mysterious scene appeared behind Ling Xiao. Like 10 suns in the sky, in a vast sea, 10 bright suns bobbed up and down, and erupted with incomparably terrifying aura fluctuations. The power in the sacred elixir instantly rushed towards Ling Xiao's body. Ordinary people would not dare to swallow 10 drops of sacred elixir at the same time. True God realm experts would need to refine it several times. It was impossible for them to swallow 10 drops of sacred elixir at the same time like Ling Xiao, or they would probably explode in an instant. Boom! At this moment, Ling Xiao seemed to have become an incomparably vast black hole. No matter how majestic the energy was, it was all integrated into his body, turning into majestic divine power, and began to nourish Ling Xiao's body and soul. Previously, because he had swallowed the energy of the 9 heavenly fires in the heavenly fire Qianquan array disk, Ling Xiao had broken through to the early stage true God realm. After refining the 10 drops of sacred elixir, Ling Xiao's cultivation began to stabilize, and he was advancing towards the mid-stage true God realm. Rumble! Rays of dazzling golden light surrounded Ling Xiao, like lightning, enveloping his entire body. The surrounding void trembled, and the heavens and earth roared, as if some kind of terrifying power was being nurtured. Ling Xiao's body became more and more crystalline, and the small world in his body also seemed to be splitting the heavens and earth apart, becoming more and more vast. The sacred elixir was originally the power of a holy path expert, and it was incomparably pure. There were no obstacles in refining it at all. Just like this, Ling Xiao fell into a state of cultivation in the flowing time temple and began to break through to the mid-stage true God realm. Aries College. Swoosh. An old man in a crimson Taoist robe, his face flushed red. His face was hale and hearty, and he looked extremely dignified. He brought 2 young people back to Aries College. Yen Wenqing, I put down my old face to beg the dean to make an exception for you 2 to enter Aries College. You must cultivate well, and you may have a chance to enter Aries College in the future. Do you understand? The old man looked at the 2 young people and said. The 2 young people were Lu Yen and Lu Wenqing. The old man in the crimson robe was the deputy dean of Aries College, and also Lu Yan's grandfather, Lu Fong. Lu Yen and Lu Wenqing had originally participated in the Great Void Trial, and they almost had a chance to enter Aries College. However, because of Ling Xiao, they were eliminated. Chapter 1298. That's right. That bastard Long Outyen, how could he become the champion? Only Brother Lu is qualified to be the champion this time. If that bastard did not use despicable means, Brother Lu would not have lost. Lu Wenqing naturally hated Ling Xiao to the core and added fuel to the fire. Don't worry. He is just an ant in the initial true God realm. Even if he has some talent, he is not qualified to be blessed by the projection. Moreover, I heard that he rejected Elder Lei Qianjue. He is too young and frivolous. Cultivate well. I will advise the dean to make the cyclic sky seal a reward for the generational competition in 3 years. No matter what, he will not be able to get it. Lu Fong said flatly, and his expression was calm. The generational competition in 3 years? Grandfather, does this mean that I have a chance to be blessed by the cyclic sky seal? Lu Yen saw hope and his eyes lit up. Don't worry. I will train you and help you break through to the great realm of the heavenly God realm in 3 years. If you can completely refine the heavenly fire universe array disk, you will definitely be the champion. Lu Fong said with a smile. Yes, Grandfather, I will definitely be blessed by the cyclic sky seal. Lu Yan's eyes were filled with endless hope. In the blink of an eye, 2 months had passed in the flowing time shrine. Ling Zhao's aura was getting stronger and stronger. He had reached the peak of the initial true god realm, and it seemed like he could break through at any time. The power of the 10 drops of holy liquid had almost been completely refined by him. If an ordinary person were to see Ling Zhao's current situation, they would definitely be incomparably shocked. 10 drops of holy liquid had actually only raised him to such a level. This kind of accumulation was far too dense, which also made it much harder for Ling Zhao to break through compared to ordinary people. Ling Zhao's current state was extremely peculiar. Every time he inhaled and exhaled, the surrounding space would tremble slightly, as if the stars in the sky were flickering. His aura was also constantly strengthening. Finally, when his aura reached its peak, a mysterious force exploded. Kacha! It was as if a bottleneck had been broken. Ling Zhao's cultivation had broken through to the middle true god realm. Phew! I finally broke through. Ling Zhao opened his eyes. 2 rays of dazzling light pierced through the void, containing an incomparably mysterious power. He stood up and felt that his entire body was filled with explosive power. It was as if he could break open the sky with a single punch. There are still more than 10 days left. We can't waste it. I can make use of this opportunity to consume the 5-colored divine dragon fruit and raise my divine dragon physique to greater mastery. Ling Zhao's eyes flickered. The 5-colored divine dragon fruit was a supreme divine elixir. To him, who possessed the bloodline of the divine dragon, it had unimaginable benefits. Once his divine dragon body reached major completion, he would most likely be able to forcefully contend with celestial deity realm powerhouses with just the strength of his physical body alone. Reaching the triple god realm also allowed Ling Zhao to stand at a higher starting point. The potential he could unleash was also even more terrifying. Ling Zhao took out a pentacolored divine dragon fruit and swallowed it. Rumble! The pentacolored divine dragon fruit melted as soon as it entered his mouth. The majestic medicinal power surged into his body like a raging fire, causing golden flames to appear around him instantly. He was like a furnace at this moment. The majestic medicinal power was being refined and began to roast his physical body. At the same time, his physical body became stronger and stronger. An earth-shattering dragon roar sounded. The aura around Ling Zhao was incomparably terrifying. Golden dragon scales actually appeared on his body, and behind him, an illusory image of a golden dragon appeared. It was terrifying beyond compare. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed sharply as he soared into the sky. Rumble! He began to display the Great Void Emperor's fist in the flowing time shrine and obtained the Great Void Charm scripture. At the same time, Ling Zhao also obtained the inheritance of the Great Void Emperor's fist. It was indeed a supreme fist technique. There were a total of 36 forms and its power was extremely terrifying. Ling Zhao had only practiced the sky-seizing hammer, the star-plucking hand, and the void quake. As the power of the pentacolored divine dragon fruit was being refined, Ling Zhao's entire body was like a furnace. He urgently needed to vent and explode the divine power around him. Sky-seizing hammer. A fist print that was as large as a mountain fell from the 9 heavens. It was round and simple, as if it was embracing the heavens. It was majestic and majestic. Star-plucking hand. The huge palm traversed the void and enveloped all the stars in the sky. It could destroy the endless starry sky with a wave of its hand. Void quake. Terrifying fist imprints radiated out in all directions. Mysterious ripples that contained extreme killing intent turned all life into dust. Moreover, Ling Zhao also began to display the 10,000 dragons god-slaying technique, King of War Fist, for elephants striking the sky, and 5 elements sealing the sky. He forgot about time, space, and everything. He even forgot about himself. Fist prints traversed the void as if cutting off the past and the future. Ling Zhao had a vague feeling that he was about to master all the martial arts that he had cultivated. The celestial Emperor Dharma power behind him also seemed to appear. The golden divine dragon was actually lying dormant under the celestial Emperor Dharma power's feet. Billions of living beings in the universe were all worshipping him. The more Ling Xiao fought, the more excited he became. Every part of his body began to tremble. After he had completely digested the power of the pentacolored divine dragon fruit, he began to refine another pentacolored divine dragon fruit. Just like that, Ling Xiao refined a total of 5 pentacolored divine dragon fruits. Boom! In the end, his physical body seemed to explode and turn into a sparkling blood mist. Regardless of whether it was his flesh or his bones, they were all shattered. However, the strange thing was that all the blood mist was still floating in the void and did not dissipate. A mysterious flame emerged from the blood mist. Then, all the blood mist condensed into a golden divine dragon. It traversed the void and had an unparalleled dragon aura. In the end, the golden divine dragon flashed and turned back into Ling Xiao's appearance. Divine dragon body, I've finally reached the major success stage. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of joy. If he were to say that he was a pure-blooded dragon now, perhaps even the members of the dragon race would believe him. After cultivating the divine dragon body to the realm of great success, he could finally freely transform into a divine dragon body and a human body. His flesh seemed to be made of glass, flowing with mysterious fluctuations. It was incomparably terrifying. Now, Ling Xiao could contend against a heavenly god powerhouse with just the strength of his physical body. This time's seclusion could be said to be a great harvest. It allowed his cultivation to soar. Ling Xiao's figure flashed and left the Flowing Time Temple. He had cultivated in the Flowing Time Temple for nearly 3 months, but only 3 days had passed in the outside world. Chapter 1299. Ling Xiao bade farewell to Uncle Su and returned to Aries College through his heart realm. I have to start cultivating the Great Void Heart Charm scripture. This is a flawless Emperor scripture. Although it only focuses on the power of the heart charm, it has endless uses. Ling Xiao thought to himself as he sat cross-legged in the secret chamber. A bright light flashed in his eyes. The Great Void Heart Charm scripture was based on the heart realm. It constantly strengthened one's heart power, especially the power of the heart charm. It could be used to refine pills, refine weapons, draw talismans, and set up arrays. It had endless uses. However, Ling Xiao had not started cultivating it yet, so there were many uses that he could not use. Bang, bang, bang. At this moment, Ling Xiao felt that someone outside was attacking his defensive array. The attacks were getting stronger and stronger. Although the defensive array was strong, it was on the verge of collapse. Long Outyen, you dare to steal my Spirit King Pavilion. Get out here and die. Don't be a coward. A cold and arrogant voice rang out. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly. It seemed that there were some people who did not learn their lesson. They actually dared to find trouble. Ling Xiao left the secret chamber and walked out of the High Heaven Pavilion. Outside the High Heaven Pavilion, Su Fei stood beside a young man in a silver robe. The young man in the silver robe was commanding 4 great true God realm disciples to attack the defensive array of the High Heaven Pavilion. Around the High Heaven Pavilion, there were many people watching the show. 3 days ago, the new disciples of the Great Void Trial entered Aries College. The leader, Long Outyen, was assigned to the Spirit King Pavilion. He actually chased Su Fei out. At that time, many disciples knew that there was going to be fun. After all, Su Fei's cultivation partner, Chu Yunfei, was not someone to be trifled with. All these years he had used his brother's identity to bully the weak in Aries College. Everyone was angry but did not dare to say anything. At this moment, seeing that there was someone who dared to not give Chu Yunfei face, many disciples were interested. They all came to watch the High Heaven Pavilion. They wanted to see what kind of person the leader, Long Outyen, was. However, Chu Yunfei's subordinates had been attacking the defensive array of the High Heaven Pavilion for a long time. Long Outyen still had not come out. Everyone was a little disappointed. Could it be that this guy called Long Outyen is afraid? Very likely. After all, Chu Yunfei is not someone to be trifled with. Even if he is the champion, he is only a newcomer. How could he possibly be a match for Chu Yunfei? What a pity. I thought I would be able to watch a good show, But that Long Outyen is actually a coward. Let's go, let's go. There's nothing to see here. Just as everyone was discussing, Ling Xiao walked out of High Heaven Pavilion. Who's attacking my defensive array? To disregard the Academy's rules like this, could it be that you want to take a trip to the discipline hall? A sharp glint flashed across Ling Xiao's eyes as he said indifferently, "You're Long Outyen? Very good. You're finally willing to come out. You dared to steal this young master's Spirit King Pavilion and even changed it to some bullshit High Heaven Pavilion. You really have some guts," said Chu Yunfei coldly while staring at Ling Xiao. Although he was only an early heavenly god, his aura was extremely powerful. The aura around him was scorching hot. He was proficient in the law of fire and looked extraordinary. He's Long Outyen? He's only at the middle true god realm, but he's actually the champion of this great void trial? Everyone's eyes widened as they looked at Ling Xiao. When they saw that Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the middle true god realm, they were instantly disappointed. Middle true god realm. No matter how strong his talent is, he can't possibly be a match for Chu Yunfei. This kid is too arrogant. Looks like he's going to be beaten up today. What a pity. He dares to be so arrogant even though he's not strong enough. I really overestimated him. Everyone spoke with some regret and disappointment. There were even some who revealed gloating expressions. I'm not as bold as you. This is the residence that elderly assigned to me. When did it become your place? If you don't want to die, get lost. I don't have time to entertain you. Ling Xiao frowned slightly as he said coldly. Hearing Ling Xiao's arrogant words, everyone was even more disappointed. He dared to be so arrogant without strength. He would definitely be taught a lesson today. Very good. Long Outyen, you've successfully angered me. No matter who owns this place, I don't like you today. I just want to teach you a lesson. The four of you, go and break his limbs. Spare his life. Chu Yunfei laughed in anger as he said coldly. Stop. Just as his four subordinates were about to pounce on Ling Xiao with sinister smiles, a voice suddenly rang out. Fang Sheng hurriedly walked in front of Ling Xiao. He looked at Chu Yunfei and said, Junior Chu, my Aries college forbids private fights. You don't want to go to the discipline hall because of this, right? Chu Yunfei's gaze turned cold as he stared at Fang Sheng and said, You're just a piece of trash. How dare you call me junior? You really dare to be my enemy? Although Fang Sheng's expression was ugly, he still said firmly, Junior Chu, Ling Xiao Pavilion is the residence that elderly assigned to Junior Long. Even the dean will not be wrong about this. You have so many people and you're bullying Junior Long who just entered the school. I'm afraid you're going too far. Ling Xiao was slightly surprised. He did not expect Fang Sheng to stand up for him. His impression of Fang Sheng immediately became better. Ling Xiao said to Fang Sheng, Senior Fang, thank you for your help. But this is my matter. Senior Fang, please don't interfere. After saying this, Ling Xiao stood up and looked at Chu Yunfei indifferently. Chu Yunfei, since you want my Ling Xiao Pavilion, do you dare to gamble with me on the arena? What? You want to fight with me on the arena? Chu Yunfei was slightly stunned. He looked at Ling Xiao in disbelief. Aries College forbade private fights, but if there were any grievances, they could be settled on the arena. The elders would be the witnesses, so no one could go back on their word. But Ling Xiao was just a mid-stage true god. Even if he could defeat Su Fei, it did not mean that he could defeat Chu Yunfei. Where did this brat's confidence come from? As if afraid that Ling Xiao would go back on his word, Chu Yunfei immediately said, All right. Since you have the courage, how can I not help you? How do you want to gamble? Ling Xiao indifferently said, It's very simple. You and I will fight on the arena. If you win, Ling Xiao Pavilion will belong to you. If I win, I want 3 drops of holy liquid. 3 drops of holy liquid? Brat, you're really not polite. But this young master agrees because you're destined to lose. This pavilion will belong to this young master. Chu Yunfei gave a cold laugh. His eyes were filled with strong confidence. Chapter 1300. In Aries College, the holy liquid was an extremely precious resource. The 9 disciples who lived in the palace could get 1 drop of the holy liquid every year. The 100 disciples who lived in the pavilion could only get 1 drop of the holy liquid every 10 years. Of course, the holy liquid could also be exchanged for with contribution points. If one made a great contribution, the college would reward them with the holy liquid. Chu Yunfei did not have the qualifications to get the holy liquid, but he had a good brother who loved him very much. Therefore, he still had a few drops of the holy liquid on him to prepare for his breakthrough. However, he did not think that Long Outyin would be his opponent. Therefore, he did not care about the 3 drops of holy liquid as a bet. This Long Outyin wants to fight with Chu Yunfei? Does he really think that he can defeat Chu Yunfei? He is too arrogant. That's right. He is just a middle-stage true god. No matter how strong he is, he cannot be Chu Yunfei's opponent. After all, the gap between the true god stage and the heavenly god stage is too big. Hee. I think this Long Outyin is a smart person. What do you mean? Long Outyin must know that Chu Yunfei and Chu Yunfan are very strong. However, he is not willing to give up Sky Tower so easily. Therefore, he proposed the arena battle. If he loses the arena battle, he will lose Sky Tower to Chu Yunfei. This will make him look better. Looks like it is like this. The discussions of the crowd reached Ling Zhao's ears, but his expression did not change at all. He was calm and indifferent. The crowd came to a square halfway up the mountain. In the center stood 4 stone pillars. They looked ancient and modeled. It was an ancient arena battle. This was the deity arena battle, a place that Ares College specially provided for the students to fight. It had an internal space that could transform mountains and rivers. It was very mysterious. According to legends, this deity arena battle was a perfect holy treasure. Therefore, it was extremely sturdy. Even if divine kings fought in it, they would not be able to cause any damage. Chu Yunfei walked in front of an ordinary-looking old man and bowed respectfully. Greetings, elder. This junior and I would like to fight in the arena battle. We will use this junior's Sky Tower and my 3 drops of holy liquid as a bet. Elder, please be the witness. It was a white-haired old man in a shabby Taoist robe. He was lying on a chair. He did not have the aura of an expert, just like an ordinary old man. But Chu Yunfei didn't dare to be careless. It was said that this arena elder's strength was unfathomable. Even the dean was extremely respectful towards him. Sure. You know the rules? The elder on the stage didn't even open his eyes as he spoke very casually. Of course. This junior brother and I will hand over 10 contribution points. Chu Yunfei said with a faint smile. In order to activate the Divine Battle Arena, one needed to have 20 contribution points. Therefore, unless there was some deep hatred, very few people would choose to enter the Divine Battle Arena. The elder on the stage didn't seem to care at all. He waved his sleeve and 2 ancient doors appeared on the stage. Thank you, elder. Chu Yunfei bowed to the elder. Then, he turned to Ling Zhao and said coldly, Long Outyin, it's not too late for you to admit defeat. Otherwise, if you enter the arena battle, it's not up to you anymore. Cut the crap. Ling Zhao said faintly. Then, he stepped onto the battle ring of the gods. 10 contribution points were deducted from Ling Zhao's Great Void token. Chu Yunfei's eyes turned cold. He sneered and walked into the arena battle as well. Boom! Heaven and earth shook. Ling Zhao and Chu Yunfei appeared in an ancient mountain range. This was also the battlefield randomly generated by the arena battle. This ancient mountain range was tens of thousands of miles wide. It was enough for Ling Zhao and Chu Yunfei to fight. At this moment, the battle between Ling Zhao and Chu Yunfei had spread throughout the entire Ares College. Many disciples came to the arena battle to watch. The new disciples of Ares College were often bullied by the older disciples. But as long as it was not too much, the college would not interfere. After all, even in Ares College, there had to be fierce competition. Only then could the geniuses and the strong stand out. Everyone knew Chu Yunfei's temperament, but they were more interested in the leader called Long Outyin. He dared to challenge Chu Yunfei, which made everyone curious. Yunfei, you will win. Su Feifei clenched her fists and stared at Ling Zhao on the arena battle. However, when she saw Ling Xiao's calm expression and recalled how Ling Xiao had easily defeated her, she couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. Ling Xiao was too calm. That calmness did not seem to be an act. It was as if he was in a state of incomparable confidence. Everyone stopped talking and looked at Ling Xiao and Chu Yunfei. They still had some expectations for this battle. After all, as the leader of the Great Void Trial, all of them were peerless geniuses. It was said that the leader of the previous Great Void Trial had become a true disciple of the 9 Imperial Gates. In 100 years, he had reached the Divine King realm and was even trying to break through to the Saint realm. So everyone wanted to see what qualifications Long Outyin had to become the leader of the Great Void Trial with his mid-stage True God realm cultivation. Crackle crackle. Chu Yunfei's body crackled like beans being fried. His qi instantly became incomparably terrifying. His eyes were incomparably sharp as they locked onto Ling Xiao. Long Outyin, although I can't kill you in the arena battle, I will break your limbs and let you have a taste of my methods. This is the price you have to pay for offending me. Chu Yunfei's face revealed a cruel smile. He suddenly pounced on Ling Xiao. A divine tiger's roar came out of his mouth. It turned into a transparent sound wave and shot toward Ling Xiao. At the same time, Chu Yunfei's palms were like tiger claws. They shone with black divine light and looked like they were made of metal. They were incomparably sharp and grabbed toward Ling Xiao's head. Ling Xiao did not doubt that if an ordinary True God realm expert was grabbed by Chu Yunfei's tiger claws, their bones would be broken in an instant. Boom! Ling Xiao's body was surrounded by golden divine light. He did not use any of wuxia. Instead, he threw a punch at Chu Yunfei. This was pure physical strength. A dragon's roar came out of Ling Xiao's body. It shook the void and collided with Chu Yunfei's divine tiger's roar. A loud explosion sounded. Chu Yunfei's divine tiger's roar and Ling Xiao's dragon's roar exploded at the same time. At the same time, the tiger claws and Ling Xiao's fist collided. Chapter 1301. What? Am I seeing things? Chu Yunfei's Tiger King's divine claw is only on par with Long Outyin? Everyone exclaimed in surprise. Immediately, their spirits were lifted. Chu Yunfei specialized in the Tiger King's divine claw. He had already cultivated this God King martial art to the great perfection stage. Its power was unparalleled, and it could pierce through metal and stone. Even ordinary low-grade divine items would be crushed by his claw. It could be said that Chu Yunfei's Tiger King's divine claw was not weaker than ordinary divine artifacts. More importantly, Chu Yunfei was wearing a pair of gloves. Those were real God King weapons. Together with his Tiger King's divine claw, it was even more powerful. Seeing that Long Outyin was able to fight Chu Yunfei on par with him with only his physical strength, the crowd was shocked. Rumble. At this moment, Ling Xiao and Chu Yunfei had already clashed dozens of times. Every time they collided, it was as if the stars were exploding. The mountains shook, and the huge divine mountains in the surroundings began to rumble. Chu Yunfei's Tiger King's divine claw was sharp and domineering. It was not inferior to the powerful sword Qi. Together with his terrifying divine strength, it made his combat strength even more powerful. Golden Gong Qi shrouded Chu Yunfei. His body emitted a dark golden light. Every time the Tiger King's divine claw was sharp, it was aimed at Ling Xiao's vital points. Although Ling Xiao did not use any martial arts and only relied on the strength of his physical body to resist, his fist force was incomparably crude and natural. It was impenetrable and did not have the slightest flaw. Every time Chu Yunfei's Tiger King God Claw collided with Ling Xiao's fist, he could feel an unparalleled God force vibrating. If it wasn't for the fact that he was wearing a God King level glove, he probably would have been shattered by that strange power. The brat's physical strength is so terrifying? Chu Yunfei's gaze became serious. Although he was arrogant and domineering, he did not underestimate Ling Xiao. He had also participated in the Great Void Trial. Naturally, he knew how difficult it was for a middle-stage true immortal to become the chief. Therefore, Long Outyin must be extraordinary. However, the combat strength that Long Outyin displayed in front of him shocked him. A mere middle-stage true immortal was actually on par with him, a heavenly god, with his physical strength. I want to see if your physical body is stronger or my Tiger King's divine claw. Chu Yunfei's gaze was sharp as he began to attack with all his might. At this moment, Ling Xiao also felt a lot of pressure. His divine dragon body had reached the great perfection realm. Now that he was fighting with Chu Yunfei, he could see how powerful his divine dragon body was. Ling Xiao's current physical body could be said to be a leakless real body. It was in harmony with the great way of heaven and earth. He could clearly feel the power of the great way of heaven and earth. Every move he made contained some kind of natural power. Chu Yunfei's battle instincts were very strong, and the Tiger King's divine claw was a rare tyrannical and fierce martial art. Adding on his gloves, he might even be able to fight a mid-stage heavenly god expert. This was a powerful opponent. The blood in Ling Xiao's body began to boil as well. His battle-intent soared, and his gaze was incomparably sharp. Around him, there seemed to be phantoms of golden divine dragons appearing. Every punch he threw was like the birth of a divine dragon with unparalleled power. Bang, bang, bang. The battle between Ling Xiao and Chu Yunfei was incomparably intense. From the sky to the ground, from the ground to the mountains, the surrounding mountains began to tremble violently. They were even swept by the shockwaves of the battle and began to collapse. The earth-shattering storm swept in all directions. The scene was very shocking. Even across the divine battle arena, the crowd could still feel the sharp shockwaves. They were all shocked. Could this Long Outyin be a divine beast? His physical body is too terrifying. I suspect that he became a god with his physical body. Moreover, he cultivated an extremely powerful body-refining martial art. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to cross the gap between the true immortal realm and the heavenly god realm. Became a god with his physical body? I heard that the #1 on the Hidden Dragon leaderboard, senior brother Tiangang, became a god with his physical body. Will Long Outyin become an expert like senior brother Tiangang in the future? The crowd could not help but exclaim. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Most of them were disciples from the previous Great Void Trial. The weakest one was at the Great Circle of the true immortal realm. They all thought highly of themselves. However, when they mentioned Tiangang, they were all shocked. He was the strongest person in the entire Ares College. In the future, he had a high chance of entering the Ares Temple and becoming an inner disciple of the Ares Temple. If Long Outyin had the chance to become the second senior brother Tiangang, they would find it hard to believe. However, when they saw the battle before them, they all fell silent. Became a god with his physical body, and he is at least in the double god realm. There is even a slight possibility that he is in the triple god realm. The aura of the dragon clan and such a strong physical body. Perhaps there is hope for him to compete with him. At this moment, the elder on the arena, who was originally taking a nap, revealed a glimmer of light in his eyes. He looked at Ling Xiao in surprise. Interesting. I still need to observe. After the elder on the arena looked at Ling Xiao, he closed his eyes again. Rumble. Ling Xiao and Chu Yunfei clashed fiercely again. Both of them were sent flying back, causing 2 mountains to collapse. Sand and stones flew everywhere, and heaven and earth shook. Tiger King Divine Claw? Not bad indeed. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with divine light. 3 claw marks appeared on his chest, causing his clothes to be torn apart. Is Long Outyin injured? Looks like he is going to lose. Someone exclaimed as he looked at the claw marks on Ling Xiao's chest. What a pity. After all, the difference in cultivation is too great. If Long Outyin was also in the heavenly god realm, he would definitely be able to defeat Chu Yunfei. There were also people who felt that it was a pity. They felt that Ling Xiao's defeat was already destined. Long Outyin, I admit that you are very strong. But I will not lose. Chu Yunfei also flew out from the broken mountain and stared at Ling Xiao. His eyes were filled with shock. However, what the crowd did not see was that his arm was trembling. He had even lost all feeling. The tendons and veins in his arm had already exploded. He felt as if he was fighting against a humanoid divine dragon. Ling Zhao's terrifying divine power, after stacking countless times, finally penetrated the power of the God King weapon and injured him. Although he had left 3 claw marks on Ling Zhao's chest, he knew very well that Ling Zhao's physical body was too strong. At this moment, he was not even slightly injured. However, Chu Yunfei also had his own pride. He was unwilling to admit defeat, and he could not lose. Rumble. Chapter 1302. Tiger King's Divine Claw, Heaven-Shaking Evil Spirit. Chu Yunfei angrily shouted. Black baleful aura began to appear around his body. His strength actually increased by several times. This is the forbidden technique of the Tiger King's Divine Claw, Heaven-Shaking Evil Spirit. It absorbs the evil spirit of the heaven and earth into one's body to increase one's combat strength by several folds. It seems like Chu Yunfei is going all out. That's right. However, even with Chu Yunfei's cultivation, he has to suffer a great backlash when he uses heaven-shaking evil spirit. Is Long Outyin able to force him to this extent? This is unbelievable. However, once heaven-shaking evil spirit is used, Long Outyin will definitely lose. Everyone cried out in surprise. They also recognized the origin of Chu Yunfei's move. Rumble. The shadow of a ferocious tiger appeared behind Chu Yunfei. The aura around him surged, and he unleashed a strength comparable to a mid-heavenly god. He suddenly clawed at Ling Zhao. Swoosh, swoosh. The 2 claw marks were extremely sharp, and they contained the power to pierce through everything. There was a violent explosion in the void. Great. Ling Zhao's eyes suddenly lit up. This heaven-shaking evil spirit was indeed powerful enough to threaten him. At the same time, the divine energy around Ling Zhao began to surge. His body was like a small dazzling sun. A golden fist print rose up and instantly blasted at Chu Yunfei. Rumble. 4 resplendent streaks of light intertwined with one another, conjuring the figures of the 4 sacred beasts. They appeared around Ling Zhao, making him seem even more dignified and mysterious. The terrifying chaotic fists descended from the sky. Like a boundless world, they contained an undefeatable amount of spiritual energy. 4 sacred beasts sky striking style. As Ling Zhao's cultivation grew stronger, the power of this technique became even more terrifying. Bang! The collision between Ling Zhao and Chu Yunfei was earth-shattering. It caused the surrounding sky to tremble violently. Terrifying divine light swept out in an instant, and the 2 figures were engulfed in it. Puan. Everyone's eyes were filled with white, and they could not see Ling Zhao and Chu Yunfei's figures clearly. However, they were eager to know the result of this battle. My Yunfei must have won. Once the heaven-shaking fiend is unleashed, even a middle-stage celestial god powerhouse would be defeated. Who does Long Outyin think he is? Su Fei gave a cold laugh as her eyes filled with hatred. That's right. The heaven-shaking fiend was indeed too strong. Long Outyin should be about to lose. However, since Long Outyin is able to fight against Chu Yunfei, it shows that he has great potential. I'm afraid it won't be long before he overtakes us. Someone exclaimed in admiration, his gaze shaking. Bang! A figure flew out from the dazzling divine light. His hair was disheveled, and his clothes were somewhat torn. He staggered and coughed up blood. Is that Chu Yunfei? Someone cried out in surprise. Everyone was stunned. Chu Yunfei's current appearance was very embarrassing. It was as if he had suffered an unimaginable injury. His face was pale, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Right at this moment, a dazzling golden light swept across the sky. It was extremely fast. Chu Yunfei's expression changed. He didn't even think about it and immediately tried to escape. However, the golden light was too fast. In the end, it turned into a golden fist and directly smashed into Chu Yunfei's chest. Bang! He spat out a mouthful of blood, and his entire body was sent flying a few hundred feet away. He slammed into a mountain in the distance, causing the mountain to shake and rocks to fly everywhere. Bastard! How can you be so strong? Chu Yunfei's expression was very ugly, and he could not believe what was happening in front of him. A mere middle-stage true god could actually defeat him. He was afraid that even his brother Chu Yunfan could not do it. How can Long Outyin be so abnormal? However, Ling Xiao did not answer him. A golden foot came down from the sky, and it kicked towards his face. Chu Yunfei roared in anger, and his nose was about to become crooked. Long Outyin was too hateful. After succeeding in one move, he unleashed a storm of attacks, leaving him no time to breathe. Bang! He used his arms to block, and the golden foot landed on his arms. With a muffled sound, he was sent flying again. Outside the divine battle arena, everyone was dumbfounded. Didn't they say that Chu Yunfei would win if he used the heaven-shaking evil spirit? How did it become like this? The current Chu Yunfei was clearly being beaten up by Ling Xiao, and it was too miserable. Su Feifei's face instantly turned pale, and her eyes were filled with disbelief. How could a new disciple be so fierce? How could they, the older disciples, survive in the future? Everyone had the same thought. Ares College had sent a ruthless person. I admit defeat. Although Chu Yunfei was very unwilling, he knew that if he continued to fight, he would only be humiliating himself. In the end, he could only helplessly shout out, "Bush, bush." As Chu Yunfei admitted defeat, the surrounding scene changed. Ling Xiao and Chu Yunfei were wrapped up by a gentle energy, and they were instantly teleported out of the divine battle arena. Ling Xiao still felt a little regretful. This battle was not enjoyable. Although Chu Yunfei's combat power was not bad, he did not pose much of a threat to Ling Xiao. Chu Yunfei's face was very ugly. He stared at Ling Xiao and said, "You win this battle, but we are not finished." He felt that his face had been swept to the ground, and he did not even care about Su Feifei. He directly threw the 3 drops of holy liquid to Ling Xiao, then turned and left. He also felt an incomparable pain in his heart. Those 3 drops of holy liquid were given to him by his brother, and it was originally meant for him to break through to the heavenly god realm. In the end, they were all lost to Long Outyin. However, with the battle arena elder as a witness, no one dared to go back on their words. 3 drops of holy liquid again? Not bad. Ling Xiao looked at the jade bottle in his hand. The 3 drops of holy liquid were as bright as the sun, and there was a trace of satisfaction in his eyes. Many of the disciples looked at Ling Xiao with a solemn expression. At the heavenly god realm, he already had the combat power to enter the top 1,000 of Ares College's hidden dragon leaderboard. Then when he reached the heavenly god realm, how strong would he be? Top 100? Or top 10? The moment they thought of the 9 lofty and mountain-like figures, everyone felt an enormous pressure in their hearts. Junior brother Long, I did not expect you to be so strong. No wonder you could suppress all the heroes and become the champion of this year's competition. Fang Sheng exclaimed in surprise. It was as if he could already see a rising star. In the future, this junior brother Long Outyin would definitely not be weaker than the other 9 people. Those 9 people were the undisputed kings of Ares College. Although they were only in the great circle of the heavenly god realm, it was only a matter of time before they became divine kings. Chapter 1303. Senior Brother Fang, you flatter me. I see that Senior Brother Fang has accumulated a lot of experience and extraordinary divine power. You must have cultivated the immortal battle body, right? I heard that this martial art is extremely difficult. I didn't expect Senior Brother Fang to have such perseverance. Ling Xiao looked at Fang Sheng and said with a glint in his eyes. The immortal battle body was the ultimate martial art of Battle Temple. Although it was only a divine king martial art, it was one of the 9 ultimate martial arts of Battle Temple, the foundational martial art of the indestructible saint technique. The indestructible saint technique was the ultimate martial art of Battle Temple. Legend had it that when cultivated to the extreme, one could be reborn from a single drop of blood and become immortal. It also contained the power of calamity and had unparalleled offensive power. It was known as the best of the 9 ultimate martial arts of Battle Temple. However, it was very difficult to cultivate the immortal battle body. One had to constantly refine one's physical body and gradually perfect it. Furthermore, one had to go through endless pain. Even immortal state experts didn't want to go through that kind of pain. In addition, the initial stage of the immortal battle body was only a little stronger in defense but mediocre in attack power. Therefore, very few people chose to cultivate the immortal battle body. Ling Xiao didn't expect Fang Sheng to have such perseverance to cultivate the immortal battle body. Fang Sheng looked at Ling Xiao in surprise and then smiled bitterly. "Junior brother Long, you know about the immortal battle body? I used almost 60 years to build my foundation and refine my physical body. The immortal battle body is a martial art for those who have achieved immortal state. It's naturally extremely difficult for me to cultivate it. If someone who had achieved immortal state cultivated the immortal battle body, they could easily pass the foundation establishment stage. This was because the immortal state of the immortal state was the completion of the physical body and the leakless true body. There was no need to refine the physical body. However, if ordinary people wanted to cultivate the immortal battle body, they would be stuck at the foundation establishment stage. Tian Gang, who had entered Aries College with Fang Sheng, was now number 1 on the Hidden Dragon leaderboard. He also practiced the indestructible battle body, but his body had become a god. Just the foundation establishment stage alone had saved him 60 years of time. However, Fang Sheng was only at the complete true immortal state. "Senior brother Fang, do you have any holy liquid with you?" Ling Zhao's gaze flickered as he asked Fang Sheng. "I do have 2 drops of holy liquid, but I only have 2 drops. I prepared them for breaking through to the heavenly god state." Fang Sheng was confused. "I would like to use this item to exchange for senior brother Fang's 2 drops of holy liquid. Is that possible?" Ling Xiao smiled and handed Fang Sheng a jade box. Fang Sheng was even more confused, but he still took it. When he opened it, his eyes lit up, and he quickly closed it. His eyes were filled with excitement. "This is the 5-colored divine dragon fruit. Junior brother Long, are you really willing to exchange this kind of supreme divine medicine for my 2 drops of saint liquid? This pentacolored divine dragon fruit is worth at least 10 drops of holy liquid." Fang Sheng's body trembled, and his hands began to tremble. The 5-colored divine dragon fruit was a divine foundation establishment medicine that cultivators of the indestructible battle body could only dream of. A single 5-colored divine dragon fruit was enough to perfect his physical body and push Fang Sheng straight into the heavenly god realm. Originally, Fang Sheng would have needed at least another year of polishing his body before he could complete the foundation establishment stage and begin his breakthrough. But with this 5-colored divine dragon fruit, everything was different. "Senior brother Fang and I hit it off very well, so I'll sell this 5-colored divine dragon fruit to senior brother Fang. Don't tell me senior brother Fang doesn't need it?" Ling Xiao asked with a smile. The reason why he took out the 5-colored divine dragon fruit was because of 2 things. First, he had a good impression of Fang Sheng. Even when facing Su Fei and Chu Yunfei, Fang Sheng still stood up for him, so he had a good impression of him. He didn't mind helping him this time. Second, people of the indestructible battle body could easily cultivate the myriad tribulations immortal technique in the future. This kind of person was a true disciple of Battle Hall, a 1 in 10,000 peerless geniuses. Ling Xiao would become the master of Battle Hall in the future. Fang Sheng was destined to be a talent of Battle Hall, so how could he not help him? "Junior brother Long, I really do need this 5-colored divine dragon fruit. How about this? I'll buy it at the price of 12 drops of saint liquid. These 2 drops will be the down payment, and I'll return the remaining 10 drops to you as soon as possible. If junior brother Long doesn't agree, then I don't want this 5-colored divine dragon fruit." Fang Sheng took a deep breath and seriously looked at Ling Xiao as he spoke. "All right, I'll do as senior brother Fang says. I'm not in a rush. Senior brother Fang should go into seclusion and break through as soon as possible." Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. "I can't thank you enough." Fang Sheng cupped his fists and bowed to Ling Xiao. Then, he hugged the jade box as if he had found a treasure and hurriedly left to find a place to cultivate in seclusion. "Hee, the 5-colored divine dragon fruit is actually used by you to buy people's hearts. Fang Sheng is a talent, so this deal is worth it. At this moment, an old voice rang in Ling Xiao's ears. Ling Xiao was slightly stunned. He instantly saw the arena elder who was lying on a reclining chair in the distance, looking extremely relaxed. "Elder, are you talking to me?" Ling Xiao was extremely vigilant. He had actually ignored the elder on the arena and directly took out the 5-colored divine dragon fruit. There seemed to be a special aura around the arena elder that could make people easily ignore him and not sense his existence. Even Ling Xiao was fooled. Ling Xiao was extremely shocked. He knew that the arena elder must have cultivated some kind of incomparably mysterious martial art to have such an effect. "Nonsense, if I'm not talking to you, do you think I'm talking to a ghost?" The elder on stage opened his eyes and glared at Ling Xiao as he said in annoyance. Ling Xiao rubbed his nose and laughed awkwardly. He didn't say anything. He didn't know this arena elder, so he didn't know what this arena elder's intentions were. "Kid, do you want to cultivate the immortal battle body? You've become a god with your physical body, right? With your current strong physical body, you will definitely be able to cultivate the immortal battle body to perfection quickly. At that time, your power will be unparalleled and you will be able to dominate the entire Ares College." The elder chuckled as he looked at Ling Xiao. "Although the immortal battle body is strong, there is a limit to it. I'm still preparing to cultivate a sword martial art and strive to become a sword sage in the future." Ling Xiao was suddenly tempted, but he didn't show it on the surface. Becoming a sword sage in the sword Dao? Hee, how ignorant. The arena elder snorted and said, "Those sword cultivators are a bunch of blockheads. So what if you become a sword sage? Let me tell you, if you cultivate the immortal battle body, you will be able to prove your Dao with strength and become a sword sage with battle. You will be able to crush those so-called sword cultivators. Do you know the current number 1 on the Hidden Dragon leaderboard, Tiangang? He is cultivating the immortal battle body. Thank you for your kind intentions, elder. But I still want to cultivate a sword martial art. I heard that the immortal battle body's contribution points are very high. I can't afford it at all, and I'm not interested." Ling Xiao said resolutely. "What do you know? You only need 10,000 contribution points to cultivate the incomparably powerful immortal battle body. At that time, you will be able to dominate Ares College and even directly enter the Ares Temple to become a true disciple. Isn't this a good deal? If you want to cultivate the immortal battle body, this old man will pay the contribution points for you." The arena elder's tone was full of temptation. Chapter 1304. Deal. Ling Xiao agreed without hesitation. This time, it was the elder's turn to be stunned. He originally thought that he would have to spend a lot of effort to persuade Ling Xiao to cultivate the indestructible battle body. He did not expect Ling Xiao to agree so easily. After a while, the elder came to his senses. His beard stood up as he pointed at Ling Xiao and scolded, "Bastard! Did you plan to cultivate the indestructible battle body long ago and wait for me here?" The elder's expression was unfriendly. He felt as if he had been tricked. Ling Xiao naturally refused to admit it. He smiled at the elder and said, "How could I, elder? It's true that I'm not interested in the indestructible battle body. Firstly, I plan to cultivate the sword Dao. Secondly, I don't have enough contribution points to buy the indestructible battle body. However, since elder is so generous, I naturally can't let elder down." Ling Xiao had already checked the contribution points for the indestructible battle body. 10,000 contribution points was considered a sky-high price, comparable to the value of 10 drops of Saint liquid. Previously, Ling Xiao had been worrying about how to purchase the indestructible battle body as soon as possible. Who would have thought that someone would send him a pillow just as he was about to doze off? Although he didn't know why the arena elder wanted him to cultivate the indestructible battle body, Ling Xiao naturally agreed. However, he would not admit it. Otherwise, if the elder went berserk, he would be taught a lesson. Could it be that he is also from the battle hall? Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat as he thought of a possibility. Otherwise, the elder had no reason to persuade him to cultivate the indestructible battle body. "Generous my ass. Brat, you are good. Even I was tricked by you. I can pay the contribution points for the indestructible battle body, but you have to agree to one condition. The elder on the arena glared at Ling Xiao. Then he rolled his eyes and calmed down. What condition? Ling Xiao felt that something was wrong. Very simple. I will give you the 10,000 contribution points for the indestructible battle body, but you have to enter the top 9 of the Hidden Dragon leaderboard in the generational competition 3 years later. If you can't do it, you have to return the 10,000 contribution points to me. If you can do it, I will give you a great fortune. The elder on the arena chuckled. However, Ling Xiao felt that the elder was smiling like an old fox. He was obviously up to no good. Top 9 of the Hidden Dragon ranking? Why don't you ask me to rank first on the Hidden Dragon ranking? In 3 years, I'm only at middle stage True God Realm cultivation. Elder, you really think highly of me. Ling Xiao cursed in his heart and rolled his eyes. Hee kid, this old man thinks highly of you. Forget about the first rank of the Hidden Dragon leaderboard. That Tian Gang fellow is too monstrous. You aren't his match. However, you still have a chance to fight for the top 9. What do you think? Do you agree? The elder on the arena glanced at Ling Xiao. Good. I agree. Ling Xiao immediately agreed. Although it was slightly difficult to rank in the top 9 of the Hidden Dragon ranking, it was not impossible. As long as he could break through to the Heaven God stage within 3 years, there was probably still a chance. Ling Xiao thought of the Flowing Time Temple. As long as he had enough resources, he would have 90 years of time. This is the Immortal Battle Body Inheritance Crystal. Take it. The elder on the stage threw a dark golden jade to Ling Xiao and said nonchalantly, Elder, do you have the Immortal Battle Body Inheritance Crystal? I thought you were really going to give me 10,000 contribution points. Ling Xiao asked in surprise. The elder on the stage could casually take out the Immortal Battle Body Inheritance Crystal. It was clear that his identity was not ordinary. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Get out of here. The elder on the stage raised his beard and glared at Ling Xiao, directly ordering him to leave. Ling Xiao took it as if it was a treasure. He smiled and bowed to the elder on the stage, then turned and left. The Immortal Battle Body was Ling Xiao's first goal after entering Ares College. Only when he cultivated the Immortal Battle Body to the perfect stage would he be qualified to come in contact with the Indestructible Saint technique. It was rumored that the War God Temple's 9 ultimate techniques were all created based on the Heaven Battling Secret Technique. The Indestructible Saint technique, which was ranked first, would definitely allow Ling Xiao to see the mysteries of the Heaven Battling Secret Technique. Ling Xiao took the inheritance crystal and prepared to return to the High Heaven Pavilion to cultivate in seclusion. Greetings, Senior Long. Ling Xiao had just returned to the entrance of the High Heaven Pavilion when he saw a young man in a green robe anxiously waiting for him. When he saw Ling Xiao, he was overjoyed. For you? Ling Xiao was a little puzzled. Senior Long, I'm Song Ku, a disciple who entered Ares College with you. Senior Long, something happened to Senior Feng Ya. Quickly go and take a look. Song Ku's voice was very anxious. Xiaoya? What happened to her? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly, revealing a trace of murderous intent. After we settled down in the abode, those senior disciples came to blackmail us and forced us to compete with them. They even bet contribution points. Many senior and junior brothers' contribution points were snatched away by them. Senior Yin Tiansong was also injured by them. Those bastards even wanted to take liberties with Senior Feng Ya. Quickly go and take a look. Song Ku said indignantly. At the same time, he looked at Ling Xiao with hope. Ling Xiao was the champion of the Great Void Trial. His battle strength was extremely strong. Song Ku had seen Ling Xiao defeat Ji Lingyang, Xiong Ba, and the others with his own eyes. Perhaps only Ling Xiao could stand up for them. Let's go. Ling Xiao's voice was very calm, but there was a silent coldness. He leaped up and rushed towards the abode at the foot of the mountain. Song Ku hurriedly followed. In the abode. Yiliangshan, Feng Ya, how dare you disrespect your elders and ignore the rules of the academy? You injured senior brother Wang. Come with us to the discipline hall now? A few young disciples in white robes surrounded Yi Liangchen and Fengya with unfriendly expressions. Beside them, there was a young man in a white robe lying on the ground. His face was filled with pain. One of his legs was badly mutilated and almost broken, revealing his white bones. Yi Liangchen sneered and said, "You can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want." He was the one who barged into our abode and caused the array to riot. He was injured by the array. It has nothing to do with us. Fengya also said angrily, "That's right. What kind of senior brothers are you? You only know how to bully your junior brothers and sisters and steal their contribution points. Even senior brother Yin was injured by you. His injuries have nothing to do with us. If you don't leave, I'll go look for the elders." Behind Yi Liangchen and Fengya, there were also dozens of new disciples who were confronting the older disciples. They were all glaring at each other angrily. In the past 3 days, they could be said to have been very unlucky. These so-called senior brothers, in the name of sparring and teaching, had almost squeezed all their contribution points dry. Even Yin Tiansong had been injured by these guys when he tried to stand up for them. And today, when they wanted to cause trouble again, the leader, Wang Yuan, seemed to have done too many bad things. In the end, he encountered an array riot and a spatial crack appeared. One of his legs was about to be crippled. Chapter 1305. One of the white-robed disciples sneered and said, "We were just sparring. You guys are not as good as us, so who can you blame for losing points? However, senior brother Wang's injury must have been caused by you guys secretly. Even if we teach you guys a lesson, you guys are the ones who broke the rules first. Now, hand over 1,000 contribution points and take care of senior brother Wang for a few days until he recovers. Otherwise, don't blame us for being rude." Boom. As soon as his voice fell, a powerful aura was emitted from the bodies of the senior disciples. The aura enveloped the entire area, causing the faces of the new disciples to change. They were actually only at the great circle of the true God realm. They were originally at the bottom of the hidden dragon leaderboard. However, to these new disciples, they were already worthy of being called experts. 1,000 contribution points? You want Xiaoya to accompany him? Do you think you are worthy? Get out of my sight. Otherwise, Liangchen doesn't mind making you guys suffer more. Yi Liangchen sneered and said. His eyes revealed a trace of coldness. These senior disciples were typical examples of bullying the weak and fearing the strong. They did not know if it was because they had suffered too much in the past that they came to bully the new disciples now. Actually, the injury on Wang Yuan's leg was not a coincidence. It was all because of Yi Liangchen's power of misfortune that he coincidentally encountered the array and almost lost one of his legs. You are called Fengya, right? Now, come with me. As long as you accompany me, I will treat you well. Otherwise, they'll have to suffer. Wang Yuan stared at Fengya. His eyes were filled with undisguised passion and greed. There were very few female disciples in Aries College, and a female disciple like Fengya, with an extraordinary temperament, was even rarer. When he saw Fengya for the first time, he was immediately stunned. Naturally, he did not think that Yi Liangchen and Fengya had the ability to cause the array to riot. However, he could use this opportunity to make things difficult for Fengya. You are shameless. Fengya's eyes were cold as she said furiously. Wang Yuan, you are too arrogant. Fengya is senior brother Long Outyan's woman. If you dare to touch her, senior brother Long Outyan will not let you off. A new disciple could not help but say angrily. Long Outyan? Pa, what a joke. You guys still don't know, right? Long Outyan is arrogant and conceited. He dared to live in the Spirit King Pavilion and offended senior brother Chu Yunfei. I'm afraid that senior brother Chu Yunfei has already broken both of his legs. He can't even protect himself, so why are you still counting on him? Wang Yuan sneered with disdain in his eyes. Let's not talk about whether he can come or not. So what if he came here? I heard that the so-called chief, Long Outyan, is only at the early stage of true God realm. Such trash, I can fight 10 of them. The expressions of the numerous new disciples abruptly changed. Over the past few days, Chu Yunfei and the rest had learned that he was a tyrant in Aries College and had a good brother behind him. Long Outyin had offended him. He was afraid that the odds were against him. Really? Suddenly, an indifferent voice sounded in the void. Feng Ya and Yiliangchen were surprised when they heard the voice. Brother Long. Ha, my big brother is here. You bastards, just wait for your death. Many of the new disciples were originally worried, but after hearing this voice, for some reason, their hearts suddenly calmed down. The crowd parted, and two figures walked in. The person in front was a slender young man in a white robe. His skin was like jade, his eyes were like stars, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. Other than Ling Xiao, who else could it be? Yiliangchen, Xiaoya, are the two of you all right? Ling Xiao looked at Yiliangchen and Feng Yan asked. He did not even look at Wang Yuan and the rest. Brother Long, I'm fine. But they are too much. They even injured Yin Tiansong, and now they are here to blackmail us. Feng Ya said angrily as she pointed at Wang Yuan and the rest. You are Long Outyin? A mere middle-stage true god realm can actually become the chief of the Great Void Trial. Don't tell me that you got lucky? Wang Yuan stared at Ling Xiao and sneered. He was a little surprised. Didn't Chu Yunfei already go to find trouble with Long Outyin? How could he still come here unscathed? He was still unaware of what had happened in the deity battle arena. I'll give you a chance. Return all the contribution points that you stole and apologize to them. Then I will not pursue this matter. Ling Xiao said as he looked at Wang Yuan and the rest. These guys were only in the great circle of the true god realm. After cultivating for so many years, their potential was almost exhausted. They were destined to be in different worlds in the future. Ling Xiao could not be bothered to say anything more to them. If they knew what was good for them, Ling Xiao would not mind letting them go. Pa, you're giving us a chance? Long Outyin, do you think you are senior brother Tiangang or an elder of the academy? Although I don't know why senior brother Chu Yunfei let you go, I'll teach you how to respect your elders since you are so arrogant. Wang Yuan laughed as if he had heard the funniest joke. His eyes flashed coldly as he stared at Ling Xiao like a poisonous snake. The academy forbids private fights. Do you want to fight here? Ling Xiao asked calmly. The eyes of the new disciples were filled with anxiety. Although they knew that Ling Xiao's combat strength was not bad, could he really defeat these senior disciples? After all, the gap between them was too big. You're so childish. Long Outyin, let me tell you the truth. You've offended senior brother Chu Yunfei. Your good days are over. I'll beat you up today. What can you do about it? If you dare to tell the elder, I'll beat you up every time I see you. Wang Yuan said with a cold smile. Fuck, I can't take it anymore. This bastard is too arrogant. Brother, beat him to death. Beat him up until his mother can't recognize him. Yap Liangchen was furious. He pointed at Wang Yuan and his eyes were filled with anger. Ling Zhao's expression was still calm. It was as if he was not angry at all. He said calmly, Very well. Go ahead and do it. I'd like to see if you can hide the truth from the public. Brat, you're the one who stood up for us. Don't blame me for not showing mercy. Yu Lang, teach him a lesson. Wang Yuan sneered and said to a white-robed disciple beside him. Senior brother, don't worry. I'll teach him a lesson. The disciple named Yu Lang sneered and stood up immediately. Senior brother Wang, this is bad. Chapter 1306. Fenghui? You came back just in time. Didn't senior brother Chu come back? What did you find out? Why didn't senior brother Chu find trouble with this kid? Wang Yuan asked when he saw Fenghui. He had asked his cousin Fenghui to find out about Long Outyin. Now that he saw Fenghui, he asked the question in his heart. Cousin. Fenghui looked at Ling Xiao in awe. He was sweating profusely and stuttering, but he couldn't say a word. What about me? What's going on? If senior brother Chu doesn't want to teach this kid a lesson because of his status, we'll teach him a lesson on his behalf today. Wang Yuan said impatiently. When Fenghui heard Wang Yuan's words, he was so scared that he was sweating profusely. He couldn't help but tremble. He quickly shouted, No. Cousin, you can't do anything to Senior brother Long. Wang Yuan was also a little angry. Feng Hui, what's going on? You actually called this kid Senior brother Long? Are you out of your mind? Ling Xiao said calmly, it's not him who's out of his mind. I'm afraid it's you who's out of your mind. Ling Xiao could already tell that this guy called Feng Hui probably knew about his fight with Chu Yunfei. Bastard, you're asking for death. Wang Yuan's eyes flashed coldly. He pointed at Ling Xiao and was about to curse. Feng Hui didn't know where he got the courage from. He directly covered Wang Yuan's mouth and then knelt down in front of Ling Xiao. Senior brother Long, you're a magnanimous person. Please don't lower yourself to our level. My cousin didn't mean to offend you. The news of you defeating Chu Yunfei in the deity battle arena has already spread throughout Aries College. In the future, Senior brother Long will definitely be able to enter the hidden dragon role and become an inner disciple of Aries Hall. Feng Hui said respectfully. Wang Yuan originally wanted to continue cursing, but when he heard Feng Hui's words, he suddenly trembled. His eyes revealed a look of disbelief. Feng Hui, what did you say? Feng Hui laughed bitterly. Cousin, Senior brother Long's talent is extraordinary. He just defeated Chu Yunfei in the deity battle arena. Feng Hui's words were simply like a bolt from the blue, stunning Wang Yuan instantly. Not only Wang Yuan, but Yu Lang and some of the older disciples were also scared silly. Long Outyen defeated Chu Yunfei? A true God realm expert jumped levels to battle, defeating a heavenly deity realm expert. How was this possible? The new disciples were also stunned, but they began to cheer in an instant. Ha! Senior brother Long is too powerful. He actually defeated Chu Yunfei. I heard that although Chu Yunfei is only an early heavenly god, his battle prowess is very strong. He has already entered the top 1,000 of the Hidden Dragon ranking. Doesn't that mean that Senior brother Long already has the strength to be ranked in the top 1,000 of the Hidden Dragon rankings? This is unbelievable. Let's see if these bastards still dare to be arrogant. Even Chu Yunfei is not Senior brother Long's opponent. They are simply trash. Everyone discussed animatedly. The anger and grievance of the past few days were swept away. Feng Ya's face was also filled with surprise. Yap Liangshan's face was filled with a proud smile. He was so proud that he almost jumped up. Feng Hui, or you, he defeated Senior brother Chu Yunfei? Wang Yuan felt that his voice was trembling, but he felt that it was extremely ridiculous. He did not dare to believe Feng Hui's words. That's right. Cousin, this matter is known to everyone. Soon, the whole Aries College will know about it. Hurry up and apologize to Senior brother Long. Senior brother Long will not make things difficult for you. Feng Hui naturally knew what Wang Yuan had done these few times, so he quickly said anxiously. Wang Yuan's face was extremely ugly. He looked at Ling Xiao with shock, unwillingness and disbelief. So what if you defeated Senior brother Chu Yunfei? Don't tell me that you really dare to attack me? Let's go. Wang Yuan gritted his teeth and said. He no longer had the guts to attack Ling Xiao, but he was not willing to leave like this. Therefore, he could not help but leave a harsh sentence. You bully the weak and fear the strong. Didn't you just say that you will beat up my brother every time you see him? Do it if you dare? Yap Liangshan said disdainfully. Stop right there. Do you think this is a place where you can come and go as you please? Ling Zhao's voice was slightly cold as he stopped Wang Yuan. Wang Yuan's face turned green. He turned around and said to Ling Xiao, I admit that I am not your match. But this is Aries College. If you dare to attack me privately, I will report you to the discipline hall. Who said that I will attack you privately? Don't you know that there is a kind of battle called a challenge? Now, Wang Yuan, I want to challenge you. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. The sharpness in his eyes was unparalleled. It made Wang Yuan feel a little pain in his eyes. Challenge? Wang Yuan's body trembled. He seemed to have thought of something, and his face instantly turned ugly. In Aries College, private battles were prohibited, but challenges were not prohibited. If a disciple with a lower cultivation level challenged a disciple with a higher cultivation level, the disciple with a higher cultivation level could not reject. If a disciple with a higher cultivation level challenged a disciple with a lower cultivation level, the disciple with a lower cultivation level could accept or reject the challenge. Wang Yuan had actually overlooked Ling Zhao's cultivation level. Ling Zhao was only in the middle stage of the true God realm. This meant that Wang Yuan could not reject his challenge. If he wanted to reject, he would have to agree to one of Ling Zhao's conditions. Who knew what Ling Zhao's conditions would be? That's right. Wang Yuan, do you really think that I can't do anything to you? If you do something wrong, you have to pay the price. If you can't satisfy me today, I will challenge you every day in the future. And I guarantee that before you can shout, "I admit defeat," I will leave a few bloody holes in your body. Do you believe me? Ling Zhao said faintly. But Wang Yuan and the rest felt as if they had been struck by lightning. They could not help but tremble. This was a ruthless person who could even defeat Chu Yunfei. They did not doubt Ling Zhao's words. If they offended Ling Zhao, they could imagine what would happen to them. Long Outyan, don't go too far. Wang Yuan was so angry that his whole body was trembling. He shouted fiercely. I'm going too far? Don't you feel that your words are very childish? If I was not stronger than you, would you let me and these juniors off so easily? Ling Zhao sneered coldly. Wang Yuan's face turned green and white. But in the end, he could only clench his teeth and bow to Ling Zhao. Senior Long, I admit defeat. Tell me, what will it take for you to let us go? Seeing the arrogant and despotic Wang Yuan and the rest bow their heads, many of the new disciples felt an indescribable comfort. They all looked at Ling Zhao, waiting for him to deal with them. Chapter 1308. Firstly, all the contribution points that you have stolen in the past few days will be returned in double. Ling Zhao said. When they heard that they would be given double the reward, Wang Yuan, Feng Hui, and the rest looked as if their parents had died. Their expressions were extremely ugly. However, under the pressure of Ling Zhao, Wang Yuan gritted his teeth and nodded in agreement. Okay, I agree. Seeing Wang Yuan agree, all the new disciples immediately cheered. They looked at Wang Yuan with gratitude. Second, apologized to them. Ling Zhao made the second request. Wang Yuan was very straightforward. He didn't have any objections to this request. He directly led the senior disciples to bow deeply to everyone and said, Junior brothers, we have let you all down before. We apologize to you all here. Seeing that Wang Yuan's apology was rather sincere, Ling Zhao nodded his head noncommittally. Lastly, tell me who ordered you to do this. Ling Zhao's gaze was like a knife. When it landed on Wang Yuan's face immediately changed. How did you know? Wang Yuan's face was very ugly. It's fine if you find trouble with the new disciples and suppress them, but you took the initiative to target my people and even injured Yin Tiansong. Do you think I would believe that there was no one behind this? Ling Zhao stared at Wang Yuan and said. Wang Yuan's face changed, but he could only laugh bitterly. Okay, I was indeed ordered by someone to teach you a lesson. They are also new disciples. Their names are Lu Yen and Lu Wenqing. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed and he laughed coldly. Lu Yen and Lu Wenqing? They were eliminated by me in the Great Void Secret Realm, but they were still able to enter Ares College. They are indeed powerful. Ling Zhao guessed that it might be Lu Yan's grandfather who was the vice president. Wang Yuan laughed bitterly. Lu Yan's grandfather, Lu Feng, is our vice president. And Lu Wenqing's brother is one of the 9 great kings, King Xianhai, Lu Wu. I can't afford to offend either of them, so I have no choice. Please forgive me, Junior Brother Long. I promise that I will never offend Senior Brother Long again. The top 9 of the Hidden Dragon rank were known as the 9 Kings of Ares College. They were the geniuses who had the highest chance of entering the Ares Temple. Ling Zhao did not expect that Lu Wenqing's brother would have such a background. The king of the Xianxi, Lu Wu, was really famous. If Ling Zhao remembered correctly, King Xianhai, Lu Wu, should be ranked 7th on the Hidden Dragon leaderboard. Very good. Lu Yen, Lu Wenqing? I'll remember you. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed coldly. He had not expected these two people to be so persistent. Even after coming to Aries College, they still wanted to find trouble with him. Hand over your contribution points and scram. You better remember what you said, Ling Xiao said as he looked at Wang Yuan and the others. Yes, 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 thank you, Senior Brother Long. Wang Yuan and the rest felt as if they had been pardoned. They unconsciously wiped the sweat off their foreheads. After returning double the contribution points to the new disciples, they all turned around and ran. They did not dare to stay here for even a moment longer. In particular, Wang Yuan and the rest swore that they would never provoke Long Outyin again. This Long Outyin gave them too much pressure. It was as if they were facing the 9 kings. No matter how much Lu Yen, Lu Wenqing and Long Outyin fought, they would never get involved again. When the gods fought, they, who were stuck in the middle, would be in trouble. Many of the new disciples were extremely grateful to Ling Xiao and left. Big brother, you're letting them off too easily. Yi Liangchen curled his lips and said. He felt that Ling Xiao should beat them up to vent his anger. After all, they are also disciples of Aries College. It's not good to fight privately. Moreover, they are just lackeys. Lu Yen and Lu Wenqing? I won't let them off. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed coldly. That's true. Lu Yen and Lu Wenqing, those two bastards. They don't dare to fight, so they play dirty. They better not let me catch them. Otherwise, I will teach them a lesson. Yi Liangchen said indignantly. All right, bring me to see Yin Tiansong. I didn't expect that this kid would stand up for you guys. Where did Xian Wang go? Ling Xiao asked curiously. Big brother Long, Sister Xian Wang sealed the array the first day she entered the abode. She said that she was going to break through to the heavenly god realm. Feng Ye explained from the side. Ling Zhao's eyes lit up. She's going to break through to the heavenly god realm so soon? Not bad, not bad. Ji Feishuan should be at least in the great circle of the heavenly god realm 1,000,000 years ago. It might even be possible for her to reach the divine king realm. Ling Xiao walked into Yin Tiansong's room. At this moment, Yin Tiansong was lying on the bed, groaning. There was a bloody sword mark on his back, but the injury was not serious. However, Yin Tiansong was in so much pain that he was grimacing. His face was full of tears. Are you okay? Thank you so much for this. Ling Xiao glanced at Yin Tiansong and smiled. This guy was proficient in the 5 elements heaven escape technique and was very cunning. He was forced by Ling Xiao to do things for him. Unexpectedly, he was very loyal. When Yin Tiansong saw Ling Xiao, his eyes were filled with tears. He almost rushed over and hugged Ling Xiao. Young master, you're finally here. You have to take revenge for me, those bastards are too shameless. Yin Tiansong cried and complained. It was funny no matter how he looked at it. All right, stop pretending. Yin Tiansong, my brother has already defeated Chu Yunfei and taught those bastards a lesson. He will avenge you. Follow my brother and I will make sure that you live a good life. Yi Liangchen said in high spirits. What? He defeated Chu Yunfei? Yin Tiansong was shocked. However, he was overjoyed. Chu Yunfei was a heavenly god realm expert. Long Outyin was able to defeat him with his true god realm cultivation. His combat strength was indeed terrifying. It seemed like he didn't bet on the wrong person. Ling Xiao smiled and said, It's just a superficial wound. It's not serious. Rest for a few days and you'll be fine. Rest well and try to cultivate the Aries art. After a while, I will bring you to the God of War Pagoda. When they heard the words God of War Pagoda, everyone's eyes lit up. The God of War Pagoda contained extremely pure divine power and was compressed by gravity. Cultivating in the God of War Pagoda was extremely fast. It was one of the cultivation treasures of Aries College. However, every time one entered the God of War Pagoda, they had to pay contribution points. 100 contribution points could be used to cultivate for 2 hours. Therefore, many people could only look at the pagoda and sigh. It was said that only the 9 great kings could squander so many contribution points to cultivate in the God of War Pagoda. Chapter 1309. Ling Xiao thought for a while and said, "The three of you don't have to stay here. The concentration of divine spiritual qi here is too low. Why don't you come to my High Heaven Pavilion? It's big enough for you to live in." High Heaven Pavilion? Yap Liangchen, Feng Ya, and Yin Tiansong's eyes lit up. They had long heard that the loft had a spirit gathering array with 5 times the capacity, and now that they could finally benefit from it, they immediately followed Ling Xiao to High Heaven Pavilion. Bastard! How can this kid be so strong? He can defeat Chu Yunfei? Lu Yan's face was very ugly. He finally knew the result of the battle between Ling Xiao and Chu Yunfei. His first reaction was disbelief. "Brother Lu, we can't let this kid grow any stronger. Otherwise, we will never have the chance to take revenge." Lu Wenqing's eyes revealed a trace of killing intent. He guessed that the inheritance of the Black Tortoise Saint had fallen into Ling Xiao's hands. Otherwise, how could he have such terrifying combat power? "Brother Lu, when will your brother come out of seclusion? Can you get your big brother to teach him a lesson and vent the anger in our hearts?" Lu Yan looked at Lu Wenqing and asked, "My brother is practicing a secret technique in seclusion. I don't know when he will come out. But even if my brother comes out, he won't be able to teach him a lesson. If my brother challenges him, he can refuse. Even if it's in the arena, he can still refuse." Lu Wenqing said with a gloomy face. "Don't tell me that we can't do anything to him in Aries College?" LV Yen said unwillingly. "There's still a chance." Lu Wenqing's eyes revealed a trace of killing intent. He said coldly, "Have you forgotten about the divine dimension? As long as he dares to enter the divine dimension to hunt demons, we can find someone to kill him secretly." Divine dimension? Pa, that's right. I almost forgot about it. There are all kinds of treasures in the divine dimension. He will definitely go in. I will find someone to keep an eye on him. As long as he dares to enter the divine dimension, we will know. Lu Yan laughed and said, "That's right." However, Long Outyin had stolen Chu Yunfei's Spirit King Pavilion, and Chu Yunfan was very protective of him. Perhaps before they even entered the mythical space, Chu Yunfan would teach him a lesson. "Let's just wait and see." Lu Wenqing sneered and said. At the same time, his killing intent towards Ling Xiao had reached its peak. He did not tell Lu Yan that Long Outyin had obtained the inheritance of the Black Tortoise Saint. He was prepared to wait until his elder brother, Lu Wu, came out of seclusion to think of a way to kill Long Outyin and take the inheritance of the Black Tortoise Saint. After Ling Xiao brought Yi Liangchen, Yin Tiansong, and Feng Ya back to Ling Xiao Pavilion, he took out all the godstones he had and gave them to cultivate. Yin Tiansong was the strongest among them. He was currently at the late stage of the True God realm. As for Yi Liangchen and Feng Ya, they were the weakest. They had just broken through to the great circle of the divine spirit realm. These divine stones were enough for them to stabilize their cultivation. They might even be able to break through to the True God realm. If they were unable to break through to the True God realm, Ling Xiao was prepared to bring them to the God of War Pagoda and borrow the pressure of the God of War Pagoda to break through. Ling Xiao was also preparing to go into seclusion to cultivate the immortal battle body. "I have the bloodline of the dragon race. This cannot be hidden. I will try not to use the ancestral dragon secret technique. However, I can use the 10,000 dragons god-slaying technique. Although the Great Void Emperor's fist has been passed down in the divine world, if people find out that my Great Void Emperor's fist has obtained the inheritance of the true intent, they will suspect me. Therefore, I cannot use the Great Void Emperor's fist. In the future, I will try my best to use the martial arts of Aries College. During this period of time, I will try to earn more contribution points and go to the Martial Scripture Tower to cultivate the 9 ultimate techniques." Ling Xiao secretly thought to himself. He could be said to be blessed with great fortune. Whether it was the wordless heavenly book, the good fortune jade disc, or the inheritance of the Great Void Emperor, they were all treasures that could shake the entire divine world. Therefore, he had to be extremely cautious and careful. He had to avoid any traces that would expose him. The immortal battle body was one of the 9 ultimate techniques of Aries College. It was also the basic martial arts of the Myriad Calamity Immortal Technique. Although it was only a martial art of the Divine King realm, It was extremely powerful. From Ling Zhao's point of view, the immortal battle body was a different path. It continuously opened up the treasures of the human body and obtained great strength. Ling Zhao absorbed the cultivation method of the immortal battle body in the inheritance crystal. He was amazed by the senior expert who had created this martial art. The immortal battle body was divided into 5 levels: perfect foundation, divine blood jade bones, 4 heavenly paths, 5 organs divine palace, and 3 deities transforming into dragons. The immortal battle body could be cultivated from the divine spirit realm. It was said that if one cultivated to the 5th level of 3 deities transforming into dragons, one could tear a divine king apart. Just the strength of one's physical body could contend against a half-sage. The immortal battle body was indeed extremely powerful. The 5th level of the immortal battle body is probably comparable to the divine dragon body at the great perfection stage. My physical body should be at the 2nd level of divine blood jade bones, or the 3rd level of 4 heavenly paths, Ling Zhao thought to himself and estimated the strength of his physical body. The immortal battle body was indeed powerful. However, among the countless disciples of Ares College, it was said that only the number 1, Tiangang, cultivated the immortal battle body and should be at the 4th level. Many people were stuck at the 1st level of the perfect foundation. Fang Xing, for example, had cultivated the perfect foundation for a full 60 years and still had not reached the great perfection stage. This was because Ling Zhao could see that the immortal battle body was a peerless martial art created for those whose physical body had reached the divine realm. With this immortal battle body, I can hide my ancestral dragon secret technique and not arouse suspicion. Let's see how far I can cultivate it, Ling Zhao thought to himself. He immediately sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate. The 1st level of the immortal battle body was the perfect foundation. It was to use the divine energy in one's body to continuously refine one's physical body in order to achieve the leakless true body. Ling Zhao's physical body had reached the divine realm. Therefore, the 1st level was not difficult for him at all. Buzz. Ling Zhao's body was surrounded by a golden glow. Streaks of golden blood qi appeared and formed the shape of a dragon around him. It made him look majestic and mysterious. This was the power of the ancestral dragon secret technique. Ordinary people would not be able to see it. However, those sages who understood the ancestral dragon secret technique might be able to see Ling Zhao's current state at a glance. He silently chanted the immortal battle body cultivation method in his heart. The blood qi in his body began to converge. Even the streaks of blood qi in the shape of a dragon began to shatter, turning into a dense aura and entering his limbs and bones. Chapter 1310. The indestructible war body was to continuously develop the body's divine treasures, treating the human body as a small world and constantly releasing the power within. Eventually, the body would reach an extremely terrifying level. The indestructible war body was similar to the ancestral dragon secret skill, but they were not exactly the same. The ancestral dragon secret skill used the dragon bloodline as the foundation and the ancestral dragon's inheritance as the foundation. It constantly rejuvenated the bloodline, and eventually one would have a body as strong as the ancestral dragon's. Ling Zhao vaguely felt that the indestructible war body was the most suitable body refining method for humans. Humans were born weak, but they had great potential. Speaking of which, Ling Zhao actually had half human blood and half dragon blood. Such a person was called a half-dragon in the dragon race. The dragon race was extremely domineering and xenophobic, so draconians had a very low status in the dragon race. Some of them were even worse than slaves. They could only be incorporated into the cannon fodder camp and die in the war between the dragon race and other races. Although Ling Zhao cultivated the ancestral dragon secret skill, he had no problem cultivating the indestructible war body because he still had half-human bloodline. If a pure-blood dragon cultivated the indestructible war body, it would be dangerous for their bloodlines to clash. Ling Zhao seemed to have fallen into a state of tortoiseshell. Every time he breathed in the essence of heaven and earth, there would be a thunderous sound coming from his body. The golden light on his body faded and slowly turned into the color of glass. His entire body was spotless, and his breath was pure. His body was crystal clear and flawless, as pure as a newborn baby. Ling Xiao was originally a god with his physical body. In addition, he had cultivated the secret skills of the ancestral dragon, so his physical body was comparable to the born Taoism aptitude. Therefore, the perfect foundation that Fang Sheng had been stuck on for 60 years was easily achieved by Ling Xiao. In just 3 days, Ling Xiao cultivated the first level of the perfect foundation to the complete realm. In his body, golden blood beads emitted a mysterious luster. The originally incomparably powerful dragon aura seemed to be hidden in Ling Xiao's body. His bones, which seemed to be cast in gold, also began to turn into a jade-like color. The second level of the indestructible war body, divine blood jade bones. After the perfect foundation, one's physical body would be incomparably powerful, and one would be able to unlock the divine treasures within the physical body. The first step would be to unlock the bloodline and bones. The so-called God's blood was the blood of the origin spirit. By fusing the origin spirit into the blood vessels of one's entire body, it would be bestowed with spirituality. When cultivated to the extreme, one could even be reborn from a single drop of blood, possessing an immortal body. The so-called jade bones were immortal bones. With the body as a furnace, divine force as the flame, and laws as the charcoal, the bones were tempered. Moreover, law runes were imprinted on them, making the bones strong and immortal. Although the first and second levels were only the basics, the divine blood jade bones were the key to supporting the immortal war body. The inheritance crystal that Ling Xiao had obtained not only contained the cultivation method of the undying battle body, but also the insights and experiences left behind by the elder on the battle platform. In addition, Ling Xiao's foundation was very strong, so it was very easy for him to cultivate the second level of the undying battle body. Rumble. The qi of Ling Xiao's origin spirit was dense, turning into a mysterious 7-colored light that began to fuse into his blood vessels. Although Ling Xiao had an ordinary human bloodline and an ordinary dragon bloodline, because he mainly cultivated the secret arts of the ancestral dragon, his dragon bloodline occupied an almost absolute position. The human bloodline was almost completely refined. However, as Ling Xiao began to condense the god's blood, the human bloodline in his body began to boil, as if it had awakened from a deep sleep. Mysterious particles began to jump. The blood beads seemed to be wrapped in the mysterious laws of heaven and earth, and they merged with Ling Xiao's origin spirit, becoming more and more spiritual. The human bloodline in his body began to flow. In the beginning, it was only a trickle, but in the end, it began to turn into a surging river. Although it was still unable to compete with the dragon bloodline, it was becoming more and more powerful. At the same time, Ling Xiao's body seemed to be on fire. Streaks of mysterious transparent flames began to burn between his bones. The majestic divine power in his body surged, and the laws of heaven and earth began to tremble. The surrounding majestic qi of the divine spirit madly rushed into his body. The god's blood began to condense, and the jade bones began to be forged. Ling Xiao sat there cross-legged, with a faint smile on his face. His whole body exuded a strange fluctuation of divine light. In the sky above Ling Xiao Pavilion, endless clouds and mist were drawn in, and the vast power of heaven and earth surged, forming a vortex. The power of the laws intertwined, and the divine light was vast and dazzling. At this moment, the super experts in Aries College opened their eyes almost at the same time and looked at Ling Xiao Pavilion. A vortex of laws. Is someone condensing the god's blood jade bones? Tong Yuan, the dean of Aries College, had a complicated and somewhat surprised look in his eyes. At this moment, Lu Fang, the vice dean, and the elder on the stage also noticed the strange phenomenon in the sky above Ling Xiao Pavilion. Is this the long-out Yen that Yenna mentioned? His body has become a god, and he has cultivated the indestructible war body to the second level? Lu Yan's eyes flashed, revealing a trace of coldness. Hee, this kid really didn't let me down. In 3 days, he has cultivated the indestructible war body to the second level. This speed is faster than Tiangang. Not bad. But there is not much time left. Just the second level is not enough. The elder on the stage's eyes lit up as he muttered to himself. But as if he had thought of something, his eyes revealed a trace of worry. Buzz. At this moment, Tong Yuan waved his sleeve, and suddenly a bright enchantment fell directly above Ling Shao Pavilion, covering the entire Ling Shao Pavilion and preventing the movement of the vortex of laws from spreading out. Therefore, the others did not notice the strange phenomenon in the sky above Ling Shao Pavilion. At this moment, Ling Shao did not know. He fell into a state of emptiness and forgot everything. Even he did not know how long this state lasted. When he opened his eyes, the aura around him had calmed down. But the blood in his body was as vigorous as the sea, and it was very spiritual. It was as if he could transform a drop of blood into an avatar with just a thought. Moreover, his bones had become even more solid, faintly revealing a kind of immortal fluctuation. The second level, the god's blood jade bones, had also been cultivated to perfection. Next was the third level, the 4 heavenly paths. However, the 4 heavenly paths was not enough to rely solely on hard work. It also needed to absorb the chi of heaven and earth, be tempered by heavenly thunder, and continue to develop the body. Chapter 13:12. I don't know how long I've been cultivating, but I need to find a way to get some divine crystals or sacred liquid. Otherwise, the flowing time shrine will be wasted. Furthermore, the god of war pagoda and deities lake require a lot of contribution points. Ling Shao opened his eyes and smiled bitterly. However, he estimated that he had been cultivating for a long time. It should have been close to a month. Ling Shao suddenly felt a powerful aura outside the High Heaven Pavilion. He was very familiar with it. It was the Dean of Aries College, Tong Yuan. What was Tong Yuan doing in the High Heaven Pavilion? Could it be the cyclic sky seal's projection? It should be about time. Ling Zhao's heart skipped a beat as he looked forward to it. When he had entered Aries College, Tong Yuan had told him to look for Tong Yuan a month later. Presumably, this was the opportunity to obtain the cyclic sky seal's projection. This was one of Ling Zhao's most important goals after entering Aries College. Ling Zhao immediately left the secret room and walked out. Greetings, Dean. May I know why you are here? Ling Zhao bowed to Tong Yuan and asked curiously. Tong Yuan glanced at Ling Zhao and didn't answer his question directly. Instead, he asked softly, in a month, your immortal body has reached the second level of the divine blood jade bone, right? Ling Zhao nodded and said, that's right. I was lucky. Tong Yuan nodded with a tinge of emotion in his eyes. However, he didn't mention the immortal combat body again and changed the topic. This time, I'm here to talk to you about the cyclic sky seal's projection. Dean, when will I be able to obtain the projection? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, revealing a trace of anticipation. Tong Yuan sighed softly and said, I came here this time to talk to you about this matter. Dean, what's going on? When Ling Zhao saw Tong Yuan's expression, he suddenly had a bad feeling. Tong Yuan said slowly, about 1,000,000 years ago, after the previous generation's Scarlet Dragon War God left the War God Hall, no one knew if he was alive or dead. However, the cyclic sky seal was left unguarded until a few 100,000 years ago, when a new war god appeared. It was then decided that anyone who could make the cyclic sky seal recognize him as its master would be the new war god hall master. Aries College's heaven-flipping seal projection was also bestowed by His Excellency the God of War. Normally, it would be bestowed to the champion of the Great Void Trial. Long Outyan, you shouldn't have offended Vice Hall Master Lei in the ancient Void City. Wouldn't it have been better for you to become an inner disciple of the War God Temple? A sharp glint flashed across Ling Zhao's eyes. Dean, is it Vice Hall Master Lei who is causing trouble? Tong Yuan nodded, that's right. Vice Temple Master Lei suggested to His Excellency the God of War to cancel the heaven-flipping seal projection for the Aries College. Instead, he wanted to save the opportunity and give it to the true disciples of the Temple of War. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with cold, murderous intent. He had not expected Luo Qianjue to cancel the heaven-flipping seal projection just because he had rejected Luo Qianjue's offer. Ling Zhao's heart was filled with anger and murderous intent. I understand. Thank you for telling me. Ling Xiao nodded calmly. Tong Yuan looked at Ling Xiao in surprise. You're not angry? Although I've tried my best to fight for it, my words carry little weight. It's useless. But don't be discouraged. As long as you work hard, you will be able to enter the Temple of War sooner or later. The heaven-flipping seal projection is nothing. Lei Qianjue is the Vice Hall Master of the Thunder Temple. How would I dare to be angry with him? Don't worry, Dean. Ling Xiao said calmly. Long Outyan, you have great potential. When you enter the Temple of War in the future, you will definitely be a true disciple. Although the heaven-flipping seal projection was taken away by Vice Hall Master Lei, the college will compensate you. With my token, you can go to the Martial Depository Tower and choose one of the 9 ultimate techniques. I hope you won't hold a grudge against the college. The token in Tong Yuan's hand shone brightly as it flew toward Ling Xiao. The 9 ultimate techniques of War God College cost tens of thousands of contribution points to exchange for. Ling Xiao had already received the immortal body from the arena elder. Now that Tong Yuan had given him the token, it was a great opportunity for Ling Xiao. However, the so-called 9 unique skills were nothing compared to the flipping sky seal's projection. Thank you, Principal. I won't hold a grudge against the college. Ling Xiao said with a smile. No matter what, Tong Yuan had treated him well. Although Ling Xiao guessed that Tong Yuan and Lei Qianjue were not from the same palace, he was still willing to accept Tong Yuan's kindness. That's good. You should work hard on your cultivation. Tong Yuan looked at Ling Xiao and smiled. Then he turned around and left. Choose one of the 9 ultimate techniques? But Lei Qianjue, I will remember you. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with a cold, murderous intent. At the same time, he felt a sense of urgency. It seemed that he had to increase his cultivation as soon as possible so that he could enter the Ares Temple. Based on the time that the Ares Temple took in disciples from Ares College, it would begin shortly after the generational competition in 3 years. Ling Xiao had to increase his cultivation as much as possible during this period. He had to at least reach the Heavenly God realm. Let's go and choose one of the ultimate techniques first. When they come out, I will bring them to the Ares Pagoda. Ling Xiao thought to himself. He could feel that Yap Liangchen, Feng Ye, and Yin Tiansong were all in seclusion. The 3 of them had reached a bottleneck in their cultivation. It would not be long before they could break through. Ling Xiao took the token that Tong Yuan had given him and walked toward the Tower of Martial Arts. The Tower of Martial Arts was one of the most sacred places in Ares College. It contained many of the martial arts of War God College, including the 9 ultimate techniques. The Tower of Martial Arts was located in a valley. Hundreds of flowers bloomed in the valley, and a waterfall flowed through the valley. A 3-story wooden building sat in the middle of the valley. However, as soon as Ling Xiao entered the valley, he felt a powerful array formation. It was a killing array that could threaten the lives of immortal kings. Even a half-sage would be severely injured if they tried to break through it. Inside the Tower of Martial Arts was a martial arts elder. He was a middle-aged man guarding the Tower of Martial Arts. Ling Xiao had just walked to the door when he saw an extremely skinny old man with a clear face sitting in front of a desk, concentrating on writing. Ling Xiao guessed that this old man must be the martial arts elder. He dipped the brush in ink and started to write on the white paper. It was as if dragons and snakes were dancing on the paper. It was as if the sky was falling and the earth was shattering. One look at it and one would feel a vast and majestic aura. Most importantly, Ling Xiao could feel a strong murderous aura from the calligraphy. It was as if the Grim Reaper had come from the depths of hell. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.